Hey everybody, here we are. I'm glad everybody could be here. Uh, can't see how many's here yet, but if you can hear us, give us a thumbs up. I see fives here right now. Everybody give a thumbs up if you can. I appreciate it. So, and before we get started, just most of y'all know probably. I can't see who all's here, but welcome to the room. I appreciate it. You could be anywhere else tonight, but you chose to be with me, and that means a lot to me. It really does. This channel, I like to keep it clean. The language, the stories, everything. If you don't mind, I'd appreciate that so much. And we have moderators to help us out with that. So anyway, today we have Tyler Wood with us. Tyler Wood Camping, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And so we're going to talk to him a little bit, ask some questions, and you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hey, I'm Tyler. Used to be Tyler with Bushcraft. I just recently switched my channel over, my channel name to Tyler Wood Camping. Seems that's a lot more of what I get to do now than going out and doing the bushcrafting. Little about me. I've been camping and doing bushcrafting for about 20 plus years. I've done all sorts of different types of camping, whether it's hammock, tent, building a cabin, sleeping in that, rooftop tents, you name it. Yeah, and I've been on YouTube now for I think 5 or 6 years, give or take.
All right. So what caused you to want to start your channel from the beginning?
Oh, I owe it to two YouTubers that is what really kind of got me started with thinking about doing YouTube. Like I said, I've always had a passion for bushcrafting, and I found a channel by the name Joe Robinette. I watched a lot of his stuff, and at the same time, there's another YouTuber by the channel name I Am Jake. Two kind of totally different channels, but kind of in the same genre. Joe Robinette would go out and do his bushcrafting stuff, go out on adventures, and I Am Jake channel. He said, there's more to life than just, going to college every day. And he dropped out and moved into his Jeep, and he traveled all over, finding adventures, sleeping in his Jeep. And that really got me motivated. So I started doing that after watching, some of their stuff. And it's like, I think I can do that. And yeah, here we are about 5 years later.
Yeah. There's a guy called the Outdoors McGee. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Mm-mm.
But he was one of the main ones I watched, and they got me pumped up about wanting to start a channel. He's a big time redneck, and just kept me laughing all the time, man. No matter what, but he follows through with anything he starts. Um, anyway, he's what got me started. I still watch the guy. I still love him. If anybody hadn't seen him, y'all can go see him. By the way, if you want to ask a question by video, you can chime in. They're going to be posting the link. And also, they're going to be posting Tyler's link, so you can go check out his channel. Next question here. So, what are your plans, or what are your goals and plans? How are they different now compared to when you first started your channel?
Man, when I first started my channel, I don't really think I had any plans. I just wanted to get on and start putting content out and hoping people liked it. That was kind of the plans from day one since I started. And I just, when I started going, I don't know what it was, if the algorithm was on my side or what, but my channel blew up within like 2 months of starting. I got monetized, had over 1,000 subscribers. I was getting reached out by some other bigger YouTubers. I made quite a bit of friends that way as well. One of the, like I said, Joe Robinette, I started watching his channel. He reached out to me. We built a friendship in and outside of YouTube. We bounce ideas off of each other, along with like Zachary Fowler and Greg Ovens. And as soon as I started talking with them, they kind of pushed me and said, you can start making some serious money doing YouTube stuff. And then so I kind of switched my goals to being making content and trying to get paid for it. But along that process and realizing that I wasn't enjoying it anymore. I was so focused on, my subscriber count, how many views I was getting, how much money was I making per month on YouTube, and it just started feeling like a job. Like I said, those were my goals in the beginning, and my goals now is just to keep uploading good content and not really worrying about the numbers, not really worrying about the views. Just have fun with it and make it so it doesn't feel like a job.
Right. I've run into that same thing a lot of times. I stay so busy because I usually record with one camera, and I want every angle I can get. And so I literally will like set up my camera for about 5 or 10 seconds, and then I shut it off and I run over here and I set it up and I record for 5 or 10 seconds, and I just keep doing that the whole time. And so what ends up happening is a lot of times I enjoy doing that, but a lot of times it's like I don't just get to sit and breathe and relax and soak it in, you know?
I've had
And
that
so
same issue. Yeah.
what I've tried doing now, especially when I'm out with friends, is don't record as much. And it kind of makes my videos look weird, I think, because it's kind of chopped up when I don't record as much, but it makes it a whole lot more enjoyable for me, I think, and the people around me. So,
And that's
anyways, well, go ahead. What?
so that's what matters most too. I think of viewers. I know I was told by some of my viewers too when I was kind of reaching my limit the first go around on YouTube. It's like they're just like, you don't look happy. Your content doesn't seem happy. You don't seem like yourself, and that definitely reflects on your videos too. When I first started, I was running 3 or 4 cameras plus a drone. And even with those 3 or 4 cameras, I was constantly resetting those up, trying to get different shots, different B-roll footages. Um, it was just, like I said, it just seemed like a job at that point. And I think, at least for me, myself speaking, the reason I started YouTube was because I wanted to share my adventures. I was having fun doing it. Like, this is my passion. This is my dream, is just to go outdoors and record content.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to read these comments, see if there's any questions. I'm on my phone and everything's tiny. So, what is your favorite kind of camping compared to now versus when you started? If there's any difference at all?
Um, My favorite camping in the beginning was hammock camping. My very first video I ever did. I had me and a buddy. We went out super cold. I think it was like -10 degrees at night, and we slept in a hammock. And I love hammock. I love hammock camping. It's one of my favorites. It's so versatile. You don't have to carry a lot when you do hammock camping. It leaves your room in your bag for other stuff to make it more enjoyable. But as of right now, man, I would say my rooftop tent, because it's so easy. It's a 5-minute setup. I can take everything I need, leave it right in the truck, and it's always there with me.
So, on your rooftop camping, uh, how does that set up exactly?
So mine is set up on the back of the bed. I did that just kind of help with gas mileage and stuff. Being a truck, it sits right on the back of my truck, and I have an Avalanche. So Avalanche has like a hard topper, so to speak, that sits flush with the bed of the truck. And so I mounted my roof rack on that, and then I mounted my rooftop tent on top of that. And so all I do is just unzip it, take the ladder, flip it over, everything pops up. I put my little window pulls in, and I'm good to go. Like I said, and having that set up, I have all the room in my truck to bring my tables, my grill, you name it.
This is probably a dumb question, but does any of them are any of them cut out for like a sunroof, or you could like go in and out?
Yeah, so there is a few of those set up, and you can actually order and spec one to your vehicle. So if you have like a
Really?
Volkswagen van that has sunroofs in the back, you can have it designed to where the ladder can just come up and down right there.
That is cool. I got to do that. So I've never done it. I've done tent camping in the truck, a truck tent. That I actually kind of like that too. I imagine a topper would probably be a lot more convenient and maybe a little bit funner.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the tent though. It was big too. It's nice and big. I could stand up in it. Let's see. Top Shop Build and Fabricate says truck camping with a regular topper on the truck is my favorite camping.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've gone through that stage too. The truck I had prior to the one I have now, I had a topper on the back, and I had a little bed back there. I always brought like either a laptop or a tablet and had it mounted, so I had like a little TV set up. Um, and I like those too. You definitely feel a lot more secured in it. And so when I did that, I did like a lot of like urban camping, um, a little bit of stealth camping and stuff, and that those are definitely nicer if you're in an unquestionable area. That way you're locked and secured, for that matter.
Yeah. I had a little trailer. It was a pickup bed trailer with a camper mounted on it, and I hauled it out. One of my subscribers, he wasn't a subscriber when he bought it, but he's a subscriber now.
Mhm.
And it had an air conditioner in the front, but of course, windows on the side. I never felt safe in the thing if I was where there was questionable areas. You know what I'm saying? Because those windows are so. I mean, it's so easy to just bust them out or something. So I never felt that secure. But I don't feel. I mean, it's weird. I feel more secure in a tent than I did in there, and that makes no sense at all.
Hmm. Well, it's
But
their own.
do what?
I said to each is their own. I mean, yeah, I know certain people that feel more secured, camping out in the middle of nowhere where there's only bears and no
Yep.
humans, and then there's other people that feel a lot more secured and comfortable sleeping around a bunch of humans rather than animals.
Yeah. That's 210. I think 210's in here. He's a hammock camper. You'd get along with him. That's almost all he does. He's trying to get into other things now a little bit, but he loves hammock camping. And he goes by himself all the time out into the Mark Twain National Forest and does his camping by himself the majority of the time. And everybody's questioned him on it. He said his family's even asked him, "Don't that scare you?" And he's like, he said it don't bother him at all.
Yeah,
He said he figures if it's his time to go, it's his time to go, and I guess that's just how he looks at it.
I get that question asked a lot of people ask, like, what was it like your first time, or how are you comfortable just going out in the middle of nowhere and sleeping by yourself, and what are some things you can do to kind of ease your mind? And I said, I just throw headphones in. When I first started, I threw headphones in. That way I can't hear it if something happens. And if I'm sleeping, then I don't get to see it. If it happens, it happens at this point.
See, I'm just opposite. If I'm gonna die, I want to know it's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but having something, I've tried putting like earplugs in my ear when I'm camping, and it freaks me out. I can't do it. I
Hmm.
don't know why. I just can't. I can't have something covering my eyes, um, like an eye co- cover for sleeping. I've tried that before. Can't do it. Um, I want to hear everything and be able to see everything at all times. So back to the rooftop. How do you level the rooftop?
There's no real way of actual leveling out the rooftop other than, just be mindful where you park when you're going to set it up. If you're parked on a incline, just kind of carry some kind of leveling boards like you would take with a camper to level out a camper. Um, you could do something like that, or like I said, the main thing that I always do is just kind of keep an eye on where, like, if I go to a campground, I'll try to scout out a campsite that's relatively flat. Because as of right now, there's not really any leveling kits for rooftop tents. Oh, did we lose you?
Am I back?
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I was going to tell everybody again, remind you if you want to ask a question live, you can ask it in the chat, or you can hit the link that they're posting, and I'll bring you in here and you can ask him face to face, which I found interesting if y'all want to do that. Let's see. Does a rooftop tent? I got these questions from actually people online. I was looking up stuff about rooftop tents because I had a bunch of questions myself, and it seems like a lot of people had a lot of the same questions. Does the rooftop tent mess up your vehicle in any way? Any scratches, like straps rubbing on the paint job or anything like
No,
that?
I don't have a show truck. I mean, my truck it's a farm truck. It's a truck. It's made to do truck things. Um, but no, I have seen people put them on their SUVs. Um, as long as you keep good maintenance on them, keeping them clean, keeping them washed, everything tucked away, zipped up, it shouldn't bother like the paint, or it doesn't do any harm to the vehicle itself.
When I did that truck tent, 210 had to help me set it up. I was really struggling. But the way that the straps were done, the buckles came over the edge of the bed, and so those buckles were like pressed up against the paint.
Hmm.
And he finally got them to where he could. They wasn't on the paint. The buckles weren't, but the straps were still there. So if big winds are coming, those straps were going to be rubbing, and it concerned me even with that if that was going to be a problem. But everything ended up being okay. What is the biggest inconvenience of a rooftop tent?
That is a good one. Again, there's ways around everything, but the biggest struggle that I have came to terms with is as soon as I set it up, I'm pretty much going to be stuck there for the night. There's no really, like I said, it doesn't. The It doesn't take very long to set it up, but once you get to your campgrounds, it's like a 5 minute setup to set up the rooftop tent. But I think the biggest thing for me is like, okay, if I need to run down and go fishing and the pond is, a 30-minute walk and I got to carry all my camera and equipment plus my tackle box and my poles, it's so much easier just to take a vehicle down there, and it saves time, especially, for people that are content creators. When you start recording, and you start recording your outdoor adventures, time is everything. I mean, you would be surprised how many times that we're setting a tripod up, tearing it down, retaking shots. So time is a big thing when you're out camping and you're recording your adventure. And so, like I said, the biggest struggle I have is when I get to my campsite and I set up, my vehicle's pretty much locked there until I'm ready to pack up and go home. I don't like taking it down and then taking it back up.
Right.
So an e-bike would be like my little go around for that issue, is taking another mode of transportation that I can get somewhere fairly quickly than walking.
Right. So Rachel in chat says, "What is the coldest temperature you have ever camped in?"
She should know this one. Back when I went to the 7 day adventure with Mark and Justin,
Oops.
that was, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. So the worst temperature I've ever camped in was negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. It was super cold. We had the polar vortex. Me and two other buddies on YouTube, we wanted to do a 7 day series, and we wanted the roughest conditions. We wanted to camp in a blizzard. So we traveled up north and we did our 7 day adventures. And I think the warmest it got that whole week was like negative 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
That is terrible. Hang on.
Yeah, it was very cold.
I mean, I would like camping in that weather, but only if I'm prepared. I love cold weather. And what's funny is everybody knows I love cold weather. So if I ever complain about being cold, they're like, "Well, I thought you loved cold weather."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, I do, as long as I can get out of it when I want to get out of it. I don't want to be stuck in it, you know? Like all these people that have to work in it, I feel sorry for them because I don't want to work in it."
Well, see, I was so used to it because at that time I was doing concrete work and we worked all winter long in the cold weather, and I was just always out in it, so it never really fazed me as much. Now it'd be a struggle if I were to go do it again. I can tell you that, because I don't know if it's just because I'm getting up in age, but I'm so over the cold weather, man. I'm so over it.
You don't like cold weather?
I've done my fair share. I've proved my points. I'm getting old. It's time to kind of ease the rest away, I think.
You're getting old. How old are you?
I am 32. I'll be 33 in about 1 month.
Oh man, you ain't cold yet, or old yet. I'm like 50. I'm gonna be 57 on the 6th, like
Oh,
2 or 3
wow.
days. And I don't know why. It seems like most older people do start liking the cold less and less the older they get. And I don't know why. So far, that hasn't happened to me. I hope it don't. If it does, I guess I won't mind it because that's what I'll prefer at the time. But Hike with Mike says, I always stay alert when I'm out camping alone in the wilderness. I want my senses alert and focused after my bear encounter in the middle of the night in the green swamp.
Yeah. Well, so where Mike is too, I mean, knowing your environment's pretty huge. Luckily, where I live, I don't have to worry about brown bears. I don't have to worry about jaguars, coyotes, but I mean, they hardly ever, they're very skittish. That's about the only predator we have out where at least I live. I don't have to worry about poisonous snakes, scorpions, or anything like that.
So, where I live now, it's copperheads. And where I moved from, it was rattlesnakes. But I lived in West Texas. Rattlesnakes, everybody thinks they're scarier, but to me, they're not near as scary as copperheads because rattlesnakes warn you.
Yeah.
And copperheads, I don't know if they do or not, but I don't think they do. They don't have a rattle. I know that. And also, they blend in so much with the leaves. And so there was a camp out I did not too long ago. I think it was this past fall, but it was still getting warm. And I stand in my shelter, and my bed was only like, so far off the ground, laying on logs. And I didn't make it through the night. I laid there, kept trying to go to sleep. It was hot. And the leaf, I just knew there was snakes everywhere, and I kept feeling like something was crawling. It was just cool enough. I know they were going to be looking for a warm place to sleep,
Oh, yeah.
And I kept thinking they're going to crawl up in the bed with me, and they're going to bite me in the middle of the night, and I'm not going to know what to do or know how to get out of here. So, needless to say, I'm kind of a drama guy sometimes.
See, I don't do snakes, and I think that's one of the benefits, and I think that's why I like my rooftop tent because ain't nothing getting up there. It can't climb up no ladder. I don't have to worry about any of that. Summertime with you being up higher and elevated off the ground, you get that nice breeze coming in through the night. There's just so many benefits in my opinion when it comes to the rooftop tent camping.
That's how I felt with I think that's one reason I like the truck tent a lot. Is because, I mean, a bear could get in there or something, but as far as snakes or something like that, I don't know. I felt very secure in there, honestly, compared to being on the ground. Uh, I'm
I
sure I'd
just
feel even more that way when it gets hot outside.
I just seen Top Shop Build and Fabrics at -50. Oh my God, nothing ever works in that cold. Yeah. So we had hiked in roughly, I want to say about 5 miles into a cedar swamp on our buddy's property. And we had a hot tent with a huge, like 55-gallon drum with just, we got out there like 2 or 3 days early before the challenge, and we were chopping wood nonstop to always keep that thing stocked in case of emergencies, which we had one when I had hyperthermia. And then also in that kind of cold weather, batteries, no matter what you do to them, they just were completed within like 5 minutes of being outside. And so we had a hot tent with a 55-gallon barrel wood burner stove in there to keep it warm constantly. That would be our charging station. We had batteries, cameras, laptops in there so that we can pull some of the footage off the SD cards and then reuse them. That was another thing. In that kind of cold weather, it was horrible. Not only was we having battery issues, but I think one of the scariest things was just making sure we had enough wood to survive throughout the night. Like I said, I think it was like day 3. I woke up with hypothermia, and one of the guys that were out there with me was asking me all kinds of questions, just basic common questions. Like what is your name? Who the president is, and it's, for life of me, I couldn't answer any of those. So, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and the backstory to that. So there was three of us, and there was three separate challenges, and we had to draw straws for who got what. We were testing out gear. So we had REI, which is your more expensive name brand gearing for the extreme cold weather. And then we had military supply gear that the military uses to, survive cold winter. And then you had just your average Joe Walmart stuff. And lucky me, I got picked with the Walmart stuff. So sleeping in a hammock in negative 50-degree weather, that sucked. Even having my bibs on, having an emergency blanket, it was horrible.
I got some questions to ask you, or a couple of them about the hammock. Dude, I've never slept in anything that cold. The coldest I've ever slept in was probably negative 10. And that was last winter, not this past one, but the one before. And I remember waking up through the night, needing to go to the bathroom and getting out of my tent. And before not my tent, I had built a shelter. It was open front, but I had a fire in front of it, and I built the firewall or reflector wall. But even with that going, by the time I would get out there to use the bathroom, man, my toes would be starting to get numb. My fingertips were getting numb. And by the time I used the bathroom, my whole body was just shaking,
Well,
And
so it's kind of weird, but it's always best to hold your bladder in cold weather at night. It helps keep your body temperatures up a lot higher than obviously
Yeah.
releasing it and going to the bathroom. That was one thing that we kind of trained for. Like I said, I got there like 2 days early, so it was a 7-day challenge, and I think I was out there for 9 or 10 days, just kind of getting acclimated to the weather, and certain stuff like that. Because Justin also was one of the finalists on the show alone as well, and
Wow.
we were just kind of sharing tips and tricks, back and forth for this cold weather, because this was his second or third time now, because he spent about a week up in the Arctic Circle with pretty cold temperatures.
I read one time, I think I read it, I might have saw it on a YouTube channel. Somebody said, I don't remember if it was a water bottle or what kind of bottle. I think it might have just been a regular bottle, drinking water bottle. And they were saying, keep it with you. When you have to go to the bathroom, pee in it and keep it with you because it'll help keep you warm. Which kind of sounded gross, but it makes a lot of sense, I mean, as long as it don't leak or something.
Yeah. As long as it don't leak or you forget what's in it and you wake up in the middle of the night for
Yeah.
a drink of water.
Yeah. Okay, so Hacklemark says cottonmouths warn you too. They coil up and open their jaws, exposing their cottonmouth as a warning.
Yeah, I'm
I
good.
know that to be true because last summer I went hiking with a guy. We didn't film it. We just went hiking for fun. But I remember we was walking over the top of these rocks and he was leading. So he walked and then I was right behind him. And right as I went to go take this step, I looked down and there was I'm assuming that's what it was, it was a cottonmouth. It was on a rock next to the water. And its mouth was just wide open and it was white. And I'm surprised he didn't get my friend that was with me.
That's about the only thing I don't do. I can do bears, I can do lions, jaguars, but I don't do snakes. Not even garter snakes.
Yeah, I don't want to do bears. There is one place that I was told I could camp if I wanted to, and I haven't done it yet because he told me that he has seen bears out there, black bears, a couple times. And everybody says, "Oh, black bears, they don't hurt nobody." But that's kind of like the people that say, "Oh, you don't have to worry about flying." I mean, sometimes planes go down. It just happens.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
same way with black bears, they're not always going to be in a good mood and just walk away, I would assume. Minnesota Mike said, he said, and you can start with hot water in any, and then he didn't finish. Here he goes. You can start with a something.
A Nalgene bottle.
What is that?
So just it's your typical like water container that a lot of people will take, especially when it comes to outdoors. They keep track of your liters of water and how much you're drinking from it.
I've never heard of that. So
And
my son,
OBP, chemical free bottles too. BPA as well.
a few years back, when he was, I would say he was probably 15 or 16. We went camping, and anyways, it cold. It was cold nights. The days wasn't that cold, but the nights were cold. It was in Oklahoma, up around Lawton, Fort Sill area, Wichita Mountains. Anyway, so to stay warm, I saw him over by the fire, and he's putting these rocks in the fire. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm going to heat these rocks up and stick them in the bed with me and keep warm that way." And it seems like I've heard something similar to that. Wrap it in a towel or something, maybe.
Yep.
Anyway, I thought, wow, what a good idea. So I did it too. And man, you talk about that. That worked so good because that heat stayed in them rocks. I mean, they were pretty big rocks,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and it stayed in them rocks for quite a while. They were kind of flat and smooth. They wasn't river rocks, but they were fairly flat, fairly smooth, and they kept us warm for quite a while. I would say at least half the night, probably for me. Uh, okay, y'all got more. I got a question here, but if y'all got questions, you can post them or you can come in here live. Somebody needs to come in here live at least once. I would like to have somebody come in here at least once.
Where you at, Dan?
Yeah, Dan, where you at? Come on in, Dan. Hike with Mike. Top Shop set at Top Shop. Build and fabricate. Yeah, we got every North American venomous snake in Florida, and then invasive snakes like pythons and anacondas. Oh wow! I don't think I've ever even seen an anaconda.
I've
Oh
seen the
man,
movie. That's all I need to see.
yeah. Let's see, you got 13 people in here. If y'all can give us a thumbs up, I'd sure appreciate it. Let's see here. So when I was reading on your website, you had mentioned also, I mean, not your website, your YouTube. You had also mentioned stealth camping
Yeah.
on there. Have you done much of it, and where have you done it, and all that stuff?
Like I said, I just started getting back into YouTube. I've been off for 3.5, 4 years roughly. Back when I was going hard in the beginning of YouTube, I'd done quite a bit of different stealth camping, whether it's like down by the river, kind of by like a kayak or canoe access point, from Walmart parking lots, were some of the places I would like to go. Except I want to take it up a notch. There's another YouTuber, Camping with Steve. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with his channel. That's all he does is stealth camping. Just an average Joe guy going out and camping in some of the more gray areas that may or may not be illegal to camp at. And I have one that I'm planning on doing. I want to go in the heart of downtown up on a parking garage with the city skyline in the background and my rooftop tent all pulled out and illuminating from the lights inside. And do a little bit different than your standard camping videos as far as like making food, because part of stealth camping is to be stealth. You don't want to really draw a whole lot of attention to yourself, or really for that matter be seen. And so I think instead of like doing a cooking, in my video, I think I'd go out for dinner and kind of show like a little nightlife. Just something you don't really see on camping channels.
Yeah. I tried to do my first stealth camp, I'd say 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah, Steve Wallace. I think that's the name I'm thinking of. Yeah, Steve Wallace.
Probably.
Stealth. It is stealth camping. We all do stealth camping. Anyone that has a YouTube channel pretty much does self camping. But no, I'm talking about stealth camping. Oh, the
There
man
y'all heard.
legend.
Hey, I just had a quick question there for Tyler.
Oh yeah.
What is your most prized piece of equipment for camping other than your truck top tent?
I'm going to have
That's a good one.
knowledge. I know it's a very generic answer, but just knowledge, man. I mean, having a knowledge of self-awareness, temperature, campgrounds where you're going. That could be a huge tool, a huge piece of equipment when it comes to camping. Just kind of knowing your limits, knowing your boundaries, and what you feel comfortable with. But if I had to actually pick an item, I would say it'd have to be on a camping table, man. I've been wanting that table for like the last 2-3 years. And when I saw it for half off of the original price, like I knew I had to get it. I've always wanted kind of like that overland setup, and I always want to be like the host, the entertainer, especially when I bring friends and family out. And so if I go out to a campsite and I got all this stuff set up, it's just more welcoming in my eyes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks.
So what about you? What you're not leaving that quick? Hold on.
Oh,
What is your favorite piece of equipment?
I'm right there with you. I'd have to say knowledge. And, when I go out camping, I'm always expanding on my knowledge by, everybody else's videos. So, I get out there and I try those things. I'm now tasked with some great things that Randy there does, his camera angles and getting around. And, oh, man, he's a master of it. So,
Well,
yeah.
thank you.
Exercising that knowledge that I've learned from everybody else.
Absolutely.
So,
All
all
right,
right,
I'd have to say,
I'll give it back to you guys.
I'd have to say my favorite piece of equipment, as far as equipment goes, would be the headlamp, because there has been several times I've gone on a camp out, and I remember younger, before they even had headlamps, honestly, or before they were popular with camping. I'd go out and I was always trying to hold the flashlight under my arm and stuff like that as I worked, and it was always falling, or you try to hold it in your mouth,
Oh yeah.
but it's constantly falling out, or you're hurting your teeth. And so there's been probably 2 times that I forgot my headlamp, and I would rather forget my skillet, I think, than to forget my headlamp. Is how I feel about it.
Hmm.
Let me get him. I think let me get him out of here. All right. So my next question is the hammock camping. How much of that have you done, and what types have you slept in? What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? And what's the secret to actually being able to enjoy it? Because I know everybody that enjoys it says, "Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it. You just got to try it." And that's just not true. There's a lot of people that has tried it many, many, many times and despised it because, like, let me give you an example. My stepdad, he's the type of person, or even my son, you could hang him upside down, he would fall asleep. He could fall asleep anywhere. It don't matter. But with me, I'm up. I bet you I wake up at least every couple of hours, and I'm constantly tossing and turning and tossing, even here at home in my bed. And it's bad enough in the bed, but trying to do that in a hammock is just horrible. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of hammock camping. A lot of times, even outside of camping. I remember back when I was doing construction and we had to wait for concrete trucks, I would throw my hammock up in a parking lot, tie it to a streetlight pole, and tie it to my vehicle, and I just lay in it until it's time to get back up and work. The biggest thing I can say is adjust it to the point where you get comfortable. Don't get frustrated. Don't throw it on one side, throw it on the other. Either have your head up higher or your feet higher. You just have to adjust to. I think you'll know. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that you'll know when you go to sit in it, if it's just not right, and you just make those little bit of adjustments, especially nowadays, it's gotten so much easier. A lot of hammocks will come with tree straps now that have pre loops in them, and they'll have, at least like with mine, I have 20, 30 loops on each side so I can adjust to my height, to the height that I want. If I want a different angle, if I want my feet up a little bit higher than my head, or if I want my head a little bit higher. And a lot of that just comes with, testing stuff out. Test it out at home before you go out and camp in it. I think Dan brought that up last week. That's one of the best advices I can give, is just test it out to your liking, and then take that and use that out in the field. Favorite hammocks. I was very particular and fond of Inu hammocks. That was
What is
until
that? What is it?
they're called Inu, ENNO
Okay.
hammocks. I always felt those were really comfortable. They were a little bit thicker than most. I felt very secured in it. I had used one of those for about 2 years until I had a subscriber start his own business, and he gave me one of the first production hammocks called East Tree Handmaids, and he goes by the name Tate Teal. And he made me one, like I said, roughly, it's been about 3-4 years ago, and I've used that same one ever since. I haven't switched back. It's extra big. I love the fabric. It's very nice come summertime. It's not heavy. And I think, like he said, it'll support up to like 550 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just bought a hammock because I've got to learn to sleep in something through the summer. You know what I'm saying?
Are you a side sleeper? Do you sleep on your side a lot?
I sleep everywhere. That's the problem. I'm just constantly my side, mostly sides. Yeah, my right side, then my left side, then my right side. But every once in a while, I'll lay on my back. But I'm constantly, like I said, probably at least every 2 hours, I'm up rolling around, and then I'm trying to fall asleep, and the littlest things get on my nerves. Maybe it's a OCD thing. I don't know, but even my blankets, if my blanket ain't touching my foot just right, it's like I'll just kick it and kick it and kick it until I feel like it's at a place where I like it. My blanket, I gotta have my blanket between my knees because my knees hurt being pushed together when I'm sleeping on my side.
Yeah.
So it's just really hard to get comfortable in a hammock and stay that way. And the last one I tried sleeping in was 210s, and it was a flat lay or whatever it's called. But it looked like a coffin almost. It was like a little tent. And it had a rope on each end, so it was just a long square or rectangle box. It looked cool, and it felt so comfortable. But at night, when I would try to roll over, I would try to lift and turn, but it didn't work because when you lift, the whole thing would start rocking, and then I'd try to turn and land on the thing, and the whole thing would kind of flip, and then I'm laying on the side of it.
Yeah, and see,
Yeah.
that was one of the issues I had with a lot of like commercial hammocks, is they always seem very narrow. And so when that subscriber of mine, Tate Teal, when he started his own brand of hammocks, I told him, hey, make that thing about as wide as you can. And I think it has a width span of right around like 8 feet. And so you can sit in it. Yeah, and I can literally like fold it up over me if I want.
Uh-huh.
That was another thing too I didn't like a lot about hammocks in general, was just they always seem very narrow, which I know that's kind of the point of a hammock. But like I said, he came up with the perfect version with the perfect material for it, and I absolutely love it. If anyone has time and you want to see it, I have a few YouTube videos out there showcasing that. He makes really good stuff too. And Grace, good to see you.
Let's see. I had a question here. I can't read it. Michael Mike. To me, that ain't a question. To me, a hammock is just like a taco shell for a hungry bear.
Yeah, and I think depending on where I go and I record my videos, I mean that's another factor in, how am I going to be camping for the night? Am I going to be in a tent? Am I going to be in a hammock? Am I going to be in my rooftop tent? Like I said, where I live, I don't have hardly any predators that I have to worry about. So I can sleep total peace at night in a hammock or down on a tent on the ground or up in my rooftop tent. Now, if I were to go somewhere like in Texas where there's rattlesnakes, and I'm more than likely I'm going to be in a hammock or I'm going to be in my rooftop tent. Probably not ground tenting by any means. I think that kind of all is a big factor as well. And then it goes back to, like I said in the very beginning, when you go out camping, know your comfortability. That's
Yeah.
going to make or break the whole camping adventure, the whole trip.
Yeah. I don't mind real bad sleeping in a tent in the summer if I've got a decent tent with good doors and good zippers, and I know snakes can't get in. I do worry a little bit about raccoons and stuff like that. Not real bad, but I always worry, like when I'm cooking, if what if some of the grease splashed on my pants and they can smell it, or something like that.
Yeah.
But so far, I've not had a problem like that before. But I also found out people, I don't know why, but people on YouTube just don't seem to like seeing people sleep in a little tent as much as they do sleeping in a hammock or something out of the ordinary, I guess,
Yeah.
especially shelters.
Well, I think, with as long as YouTube has been around too, so much stuff has already been overplayed so much, or there's been already millions of videos on, just sleeping in a small tent. I have tents. I have like an LL Bean light tent that I picked up that literally weighs like half a gram. It's
Oh,
super
wow.
lightweight. It's great for backpacking in places. I've got a TP tent that weighs, 100 pounds. I've got a 10-person, 2 bedroom tent as well. And I think it just kind of goes back and forth. I think it seems like some months, camping in a really small, tiny thing is trending at the moment. Then the next is something that's just overly big and luxurious and just makes no sense at all. And that'll start trending as well.
Yeah. This, I only have a couple more questions or comments, but sorry, I had to belch, man. So this hammock I got is like it's a 2-man or 2-person, not 2-man. And so I'm hoping it's going to be big enough to where I can lay. I think 210 was telling me you can lay kind of angled and lay a little bit flatter than if you're laying just straight from the top to bottom. And then I was watching a little bit of Tony Stealth Camper guy. No, I can't think right now. But anyway, I was watching him sleep in a hammock the other day, and he was saying the same thing and demonstrated it. How you get in it and you sit, and then you can turn to where you're laying caddy corner, sort of, and rather than just straight up and down in it.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's something I'm gonna have to try. It don't sound like it would be very comfortable, and it didn't look like it would be real comfortable, but they swear by it. So I guess I'll have to see. But anyway, yeah, the one I got is a 2-person hammock, and it's got the bug thing with it, and it's got the tarp over the top of it. I don't know how to put it together. 210's gonna help me with that. Because that's all he does pretty much. So fishing. This is my last. Well, I got 2 more questions. This one being one of them. Do you do much fishing? I saw fishing also on your YouTube description or whatever.
Oh yeah. No, I love to fish. I grew up fishing. That was one of our great things to go and do. Family trips to go on. We'd go out camping and we'd go fishing. For a long time, I would spend the summers with my grandmother. We'd go out and fish on our bridge from late at night till wee hours of the morning. That always holds like a special spot in my heart. I like to fish for anything and everything, whatever bites, pretty much. Late summer nights, I typically like to do some like catfishing at night. During the day, depending on where I'm at, like to go up and try to do some like trout fishing. Or down on my property, just down south, they got stocked it with quite a bit of like yellow perch, a lot of white crappie, black crappie, sunfish, which are really decent size down there. So yeah, I absolutely love fishing. Nothing beats, I think, topwater fishing if you got the patience for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And why do you think that?
What do I think? What?
Why do you think that about the topwater fishing?
It's just one of those things, man. You can throw it out 50, 60, 70 times before you even get a bite on it. It can be very intimidating. It can be very exhausting. It's a lot of work for little reward. But man, once you get a largemouth bass jump out of the water and hit it, it's a feeling like none other.
I got you. So right back here, you know what that is?
Hard to tell on camera. Is that
Yeah,
it's like
that's my lose mock smash combo. And I got it. I was so excited. I was so pumped. I watched so many people using this on YouTube. And I texted this one guy and he texted me back and we got in a conversation about it. I got so excited. I bought it and hung it on the wall. And I hadn't even put string on it yet or anything. I had one other bait caster and I ended up giving it away to somebody because it had the handle on the left and I wanted it on the right.
I say most of them nowadays are you can change them, you can flip them around.
Yeah, well, with my open reel, it's the same way. I like it on the right, and I can change that one around, but I'm not able to do it on this one. I don't think. Maybe you can. I don't know. I haven't looked at it close enough. But I had a guy tell me the other day that what was he talking about? Something about the Mach 2. Have you used any of the Machs?
No, I've been mostly, so depending on what kind of fishing I'm doing, I got different reels and different poles for different setups. But for like topwater, I do a little bit different. I don't remember the name exactly for my bait caster, but as far as the pole goes, I like ugly sticks. I like ugly sticks. I like the flick on it. I can just something about those poles. I can just get that flick going and just watch that frog skip off the top for days.
Yeah. I feel people has made fun of me for years. If Woodsman's in here, he's kind of the same way with me. I have always used the Zebco 33, and people make fun of you if you have one, but I've caught everything on that thing. Everything.
Yeah, they're old and reliable.
Yeah, and to me, they're easier to cast out. This last camp out we have, it's in the video. You can't really tell exactly what happened, but I have a new open face reel, rod and reel, and it's a Lose presidential, lady presidential, or whatever it's called. So it was supposed to be presidential. I ordered it on eBay, and then I realized it was the lady presidential was going to be pink, and so I was like, "Can I return this and you not send it to me?" And he says, "Well, I can, but really, it's not real pink. It's more reddish." I was like, "Okay," so I went ahead and took it. But anyway, we took it to the camp out, and I can't cast that thing for nothing. It's like I've been practicing, but I'm terrible at it, dude. So I flip it and I hold it with my finger. I'm going like this, and it goes no telling where.
Now,
And it ends up,
do you put your weight or your lure on there and hold it out in front of you and adjust the tension and watch it slowly fall down in front of you until you find that perfect speed? Because that'll make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, I'm talking about the open face.
Oh, okay, the open face. Okay.
Yeah, that thing just. I mean, I've seen little kids use those things. I can't even get it to cast right. So I got it all tangled up in the weeds and stuff. Now the bait caster, I kind of mastered the first one I had. It took a while, but like I said, I gave it away, and I'm sure this one's going to be a little bit different, and that's probably part of the reason I've just let it hang on the wall because I'm kind of dreading it, having to relearn, because they're not as easy as what people think they are. You watch people that have used them forever, and they're just like, just They can cast it any way, any distance, and it ain't a problem.
I see we
That
got
was-
questions in the chat there. One from Mike. Question is, Tyler, where is your dream wilderness area to plan a camping trip? Man, I've got two. No, I take that back. I got three. And I don't know if I could choose between the three. One of them being in Montana, up in like the Grand Tetons area, which fingers crossed, maybe this summer that might be a possibility. Second place would be up around like Hoona, Alaska, or maybe around the Fairbanks area. I've always wanted to go up in Alaska and camp up in the mountains. I think that'd be really awesome. And my third place is I've always wanted to hike along the oh man, I'm drawing a blank here. The Appalachian Trail and set up camp off the trail. That's ever since I got into camping, I've always dreamed about hiking along that trail and then pulling off somewhere, setting up a tent, and going from there. So somewhere down in Georgia, like Savannah, Georgia area. Those would be my three, I think, all-time places.
Let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to read these.
No, you're fine.
Herbert T. I have the Lose Mach 2. It's a decent choice. Okay, so I had ordered. This is off subject. I had ordered the Lose Mach 2. It came in the mail, and the tip was broke off. And the people I ordered it from, man, it was like I could not get those people to refund my money to save my life. And I sent it back and everything. And I just kept calling them and calling them and calling them. And before they could even answer the phone good, I was. They finally gave me my money back and let me return. But it just that alone ruined my taste. It's like, okay, I don't even want a Mach 2 now. I want something different. So I started looking around. Adventures You Can. Is Tyler going to be posting videos on a regular basis?
I guess maybe your definition of regular and mine's going to be regular. To answer that question the best I can, the idea is to have at least one video a week, if not one video every 2 weeks. Maybe 2 videos a month, up to 4 videos a month, just kind of depending with work and everything else. I'm a single dad. I have my daughter throughout the week. On top of that, with work, trying to balance that and the dating life now, kind of throw that in there, and then having my own time as well for stuff that I like to do, which is, go out and camp and whatnot. But yeah, I want to say I definitely, since I came back probably about a month now, and I've already came out with, I think, like 4 videos in the last month. And that's the plan. My return time when I get back, I usually will spend anywhere between 8 to 10 hours editing a video and then getting it posted the following day or the next day is when I like to try to get them edited and posted right away. Nicholas,
Okay,
good to see you, buddy.
Top Shop says Zipco 808, something like that. I think great reels.
He's another one right there, Nicholas Green Outdoors. If you guys haven't followed him, follow him out. First off, I want to say congratulations on the weight loss, brother. I mean, that's amazing. I think 90 something pounds or something like that. He's been another big influence in the outdoor community. I remember young Nick. I can't remember how old he was. He went out in the middle of a blizzard and camped for like 100 subscribers. And that video got like 40, 50 million views, and his channel blew up. And yeah. Just under 30 pounds so far. That's awesome, man. Congratulations, brother.
Let's see, where's he at? Hey, Nick, would you be willing to come in on video with us? Can somebody post a link?
Yep, and I'm going to step away just 1 second here.
All right. I'd really like to have you come in if you can. I've actually talked to you some, commented on some of your videos, and congratulated you on the weight loss. I used to watch you camp in your backyard and stuff. I've always wanted to talk to you, so if you'll come in here, I'd really appreciate it. Let's see here. Ozarks. I'm trying to read here. I don't know if somebody. Yeah, there's the link. If you're willing to come in, anybody can come in to ask a question. Alaska is a great place, the most beautiful place I have ever been to. I wouldn't want to be there in the winter. Okay, this is probably going to bore y'all, but I had an opportunity to work in Alaska. Like I was going to work in Alaska half the year and then come back here and work half the year. And I was real excited about it. And I've got a CDLA license to drive a truck. And so 2 companies were looking at hiring me. And what I was going to be doing is driving some sort of bus from a certain location with tourists up to the lodge. And then I was going to go back and I was going to drive a semi with all their luggage on it and bring it up. And then during the week or 2 weeks, however long, I was going to be doing the maintenance while people were there. And then I'd haul everything back down and stuff like that. Well, I was right at agreeing to take the job, this one job, one of them. And I asked the lady, I said, well, how much does it pay? And she said it paid minimum wage. And so I was like, okay. I said, but y'all will pay my way there and everything, right? And she's like, oh, no, we don't pay your way there. You gotta pay your own way there and back. I said, well, what about meals? Do y'all at least provide meals? And she's like, well, yeah, we provide the meals, but it's taken out of your check. And I said, what about rooms? And same thing with rooms. And so I told her by the end of it all, I said, I would literally be paying y'all money or giving you free time to work in Alaska. Then I said, I wouldn't be making anything. And she kept apologizing. She said, I know it's true. She said they usually hire older retired people because of that, because they just can't. She kept apologizing, said she had no control over it, the pay there. But anyway, I don't see any more questions here. So my last question I was going to ask you, did you get any companies like sending you stuff or emailing you saying, hey, will you use this and promote it on one of your videos and on your channel and stuff like that? And if you did, what items did you get and which ones did you actually promote and all that stuff?
I've actually been pretty blessed when it comes to my YouTube channel. Like I said, when I started, my channel just took off right off the bat. I ended up getting 2 emails, one from History Channel and one from Discovery Channel.
Wow.
I got asked to go out on a loan. I think it was like season 6, I think is what it was. Went through all the interviews, went and did their boot camp, got all that picked. And then when I got done with that, they sent me back home. Waited around till they didn't want to give out the location, so you couldn't cheat and try to figure out the geography, figure out the wildlife and edibles out there, any way of cheating the system. They didn't want you to know. So they sent us home in preparation for it. And then COVID hit. And I'd already taken off a lot of time at work doing all the interviews. It was like a 3-month process with History Channel. And COVID hit and they canceled. Later on, it asked me if I wanted to get, redo the whole initial setup and everything else. And at that time, I couldn't afford it. I just had my daughter at that time, and I was working construction, and it wasn't feasible. It wasn't the right timing. And then at the same exact time, Discovery Channel reached out with the show Naked and Afraid, and did all that. I met some really cool people, gained a really good friend now, EJ Snyder, if you guys know who he is. He's a pretty cool guy. We like to talk back and forth from time to time. Same thing, just went through the PSR, which is the primal survival rating they did. Out of a 10, I think I got like a 7.9 out of 10. which qualified me to be on the show. But like I said, at that time, like I said, I just had my daughter. It wasn't really feasible for me to go out there on a whim and hope that everything works out. I didn't take that chance, which it might happen again. I'm in a better position now than ever before. So there was that. That was the first big major opportunity that I got, was from 2 cable TV shows. And then I've had a lot of companies, some American-made stuff and some overseas products be sent to me, including some of my subscribers got into making their own business. 2 big items that I can think of right off the bat. The first one that ever gave me a sponsorship, to this day, me and him became really good friends. Paul Corona, he is the owner of Black and White Fire Starters. Before I was his first person that he said, "Hey, you're going to be the first product," and tell me what you think. And luckily, I mean, it was a product. I mean, I've done plenty of videos on the Black and White Fire Starters, starting it when it's completely soaked, in the snow, in the rain, in strong winds. It's a really good product, and that's one that I will always stand behind. I put my own channel behind it. The second one would be, it is called Black and White Fire Starters, and he started off, he was a really small business. I think he's grown quite a bit now. You can find him if you just type in like Black and White Fire Starters. He might have stuff like an Etsy store or something like that. That's a really good brand. Because like I said, you can go out with a ferro rod or matches or a lighter all day long, but depending on the weather and conditions, especially he actually sent me like 2 cases when we went and did that 7-day challenge when it was -60 out, and I cannot be more thankful enough that he sent that, because getting a fire out there with it being that cold, and not to mention there was 6 feet of snow that we were standing on at all times because of how much snow was up there, definitely saved us. I mean, that was a huge bonus. The second thing that a company sent me was from my own subscriber, who he said that I inspired him to launch his own outdoor gear, and he sent me that hammock. And like I said, that hammock is something that I carry with me every day. So,
wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what is your what's one item that you got that you didn't like?
Oh man, there's been quite a few. So right now, actually, I haven't even done a video on it yet. There's a company called Zani. They make electric blankets. In my personal opinion, it is way overpriced. It's like a $500 blanket. They sent it to me and said, "Hey, do a review on it." Now, I mean, the blanket, don't get me wrong, the blanket works great. It comes with its own power bank that lasts all night. And it heats up really well. The product itself, I have no issues with. It's that price, because I'm a very average person. I don't have, I have some name brand, top of the line stuff. I mean, I've got like Fall Raven pants, the $400 pants. But most of my subscribers, that's just not them. I have a few that could probably spend $500-600 on a blanket, but most of my subscribers don't have that kind of money. And I don't want to push products like that if I wouldn't buy it myself, why would I expect my subscribers to want to buy it? So buying a $500 blanket, at least in my eyes, and people might disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. But for me, I don't have that kind of money, and I don't want to spend that kind of money on a blanket. I can spend that $500 on way better stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. I can too. I don't know if it'd be better stuff, but stuff that I would want more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Than that. Okay, so my last question, I was trying to make it an hour. Struggled a little bit, but I try to make it an hour. If anybody has questions, you can still come in. You can still ask in chat.
I just seen eventually Ken said EJ is my guy. Loved him on the show, and he is now with Survivor Mastery Online with Corporate's Corner. Yeah, I just called EJ not too long ago, and I have a buddy that is a huge friend of his. Hey Nick.
Hey,
I have a buddy that's just a huge fangirl for EJ, and I said, hey, you want to call and talk to him? And he's like, yeah, you're funny, I was like, no, seriously, I'll call him right now. So I called him up and he answered, and my buddy's like face just like went pale white, like he just had no idea. And I say, hey, EJ, I was like, I got a buddy here. If you don't mind, it's his birthday. Want to wish him a happy birthday. And so they talked for a little bit, and then I got back on the phone with him, and he's got his book signing going on right now. And he's taking a lot of those proceeds from all his book signing, and he's helping out like North Carolina that got hit with the flash floods and all that stuff too. So EJ is one of those guys that what you see is what you get. He's not different, outside of the camera.
Yeah, that's good. Those kind of people I like.
Yeah.
So
hopefully my space heater is not too loud. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but
it's all right. How are you doing, man?
all right. I didn't want to butt into the interview, so I waited a little bit towards the end. But
Oh, you're fine.
I'm glad you came in. I don't do the best of interviews, and I was kind of struggling for questions, so it worked out pretty good. So
yeah,
tell,
I haven't
what
been
are
on
you-
live in a little bit.
what are you up to now?
Recently, well, I just got back from Texas. Like, it's been 3 days I've been back now, but I was gone for like almost 3 weeks, and I just filmed a bunch of stuff down there. But I was stuck in a dust storm, which was terrifying, and then a huge hailstorm. So I'm like, but went over Texas and then drove up to New Mexico, went to petroglyphs up there, and then I did camp down there. So I have a camping video, which I finally found an armadillo, which
There you go.
I've never seen one, even though down there they're everywhere. I went 2 years ago to Texas and I never seen one. So I was pretty happy this time. But
How are you doing with what did you do to lose your weight?
I just, so like on the Texas trip, I did cave a little bit because I took a train down. The food on the train, literally, I either ate, rice or noodles or something, or I didn't eat. So I had that, and then down in Texas, I had bread. I still never drank pop or anything, but I mainly did the carnivore diet.
Okay.
And yesterday and today, I've been on the strict, carnivore again. So, because I started feeling like garbage. That's the problem. Because I'm happy where my weight is, but like I realized that like I just don't run well if I'm eating carbs. I just feel like
sluggish.
Just like it's like you have the flu, but there's no fever parts. Like all the other stuff, like I feel weak but pretty much like for the almost 130 pounds, it's been a year and like 4 months, but just I didn't really exercise much. So the problem I have now is I'm weak. I lost all that weight, but I'm weak. I don't have a lot of muscles.
Right.
So this year I have to do that because, like the loose skin and everything.
Yeah.
But, that's
you look amazing, dude. For real. You look really healthy.
My face right now, it's just all broken out. I finally shaved because I keep trying to grow a beard, but it's like, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It don't look good at all. It's bright orange too, which is the English side, but
yeah, that's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cliff said he's pretty ticked off at you for going down to New Mexico and not saying hi to him.
I didn't think of it.
I know. I forget about him being in New Mexico all the time, man.
Yeah, and another thing was, where I was staying, we were on like a very like close time schedule. Like I was down there a bit, but every day was like planned out. There were reservations places, and New Mexico was a nightmare only because the dust storm. I was like, I have some footage of it, but it was like, even for New Mexico, they said it was like horrible.
Never seen.
They're like, I was nervous whenever I seen like oil workers, like they're the white trucks, and you know how they drive. They usually drive through everything. They were turning around in front of us.
Oh man.
I'm like, okay. But I mean, there was zero visibility for like 6 hours. It just had to, like, I was right on someone's tail. It's an 80-mile-an-hour zone, but everyone's doing like 2 or 3. And then I had semis coming flying behind me doing like 60, swerving last second. I'm like, ugh. But it was pretty cool up there. We were like southeast. We really stayed southeast, just kind of like cut up to the bottom. But I went to see the petroglyphs mainly. That was the main thing. And then we were at Ruidoso, which is right on the Mescalero reservation.
Did you say Ruidoso, New Mexico?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was pretty cool. My one goal was to get jewelry from up there, which I love this necklace. But it was nice up there.
I almost moved there. That's one of the many places I almost moved before I moved here. I actually called about a bunch of homes that were for sale there, and then ended up coming over here to Missouri, southern Missouri.
It's probably a little pricey there, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's pricey here and in Ruidoso, both places, because they're both tourist towns.
Oh.
The area I'm in I'm close to Branson, Missouri, which is a big tourist town. But I got one more.
Tornadoes down there yesterday or around you?
Not here. The only thing I've seen here is a lot of rain today and a little bit of pea-sized hail. Is all we've got so far, and I hope that's all we get. Because
well, I was watching last night. I see Missouri, Illinois, Arkansas, pretty much right where my train just was coming up through. Right along that, there was a line. Because last time I was on the train, like 2 years ago exactly, there were 2 tornadoes that were like, well, they never touched, but there was rotation. So they locked the train down. I think it was by Texarkana we were. Yeah, I think that was Texarkana, but
so
I like storms, but like not trapped on a train, like I don't know.
So when is going to be your camping in a tornado video coming out?
Whenever I get sucked into one, I think. If
every outdoor channel's got to have a camping out in a tornado at this point.
The problem now, like with camping on YouTube, is like most people want to see you like, almost choke out in every video for it to like go real well. Like, it's got to be something like really up there to do super well. Like it used to be, it was different, but now it's.
Well, that's why I'm getting really excited about doing this stealth camping in the city. Like I said, I'm gonna go up on one of those parking garages where that doesn't have a top on it, and I'm gonna go up to the very top, and either I'm gonna set up my hammock and kind of hang off the side, or I'm gonna use my rooftop tent and have my lights on and just hopefully capture that. I think my last video did very well just because of that thumbnail alone. But if I can recreate that up on the rooftop tent with like the city skyline background, I think it'll do pretty well. And I said my tornado video I'm getting like 150 views, 200 views a week now on it. It's just skyrocketing.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That once YouTube has a hold of something like that, and they just they like slowly give it a push, and then they'll push it a little more, and like if it has the same amount of clicks, then they're like, okay, bigger push. It's like it's exciting because I mean you never know. Like I haven't camped as much. Like I'm starting now, like I did in Texas. I used a hammock because like I was in a car accident last September, and no one passed or anything, but we were doing 55 and we went to 0. So my back has been like at the bottom's been messed up. But like the hammock, I was able to lay and I was okay in the hammock. So I'll be hammock camping a lot. Like
there you go.
For the future. But wow. I finally have a hammock that has a mosquito net.
There you
go.
That
was a big thing I didn't have for a long time. And I'm glad I had it in Texas because
Texas got them pretty big ticks down there too, and I know how you feel about them ticks.
Do they have them down there, big ones?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, we found a cave, and it's on a Boy Scout camp, and it was just kind of like a little dome cave where it collapsed like a long time ago. And I filmed it. I have a video for it, but I crawl in. First of all, I'm not thinking I'm in Texas. I shouldn't crawl on my hands like that. I got bit by a fire ant, so I was like, okay. So I get into the cave. I look to the left. There's 2 giant vulture eggs. I look up on the ceiling. There's a scorpion above me and one of those red-headed centipedes like that long. and I looked up at it. It was crawling okay. and then it started to slip. So I like ran to the other side of the cave, but yeah, it's pretty interesting down there. I didn't like those little mosquitoes. They were like this big and they were spotted. And
Yeah.
I couldn't, like, I kept trying to see them whenever they bite me and I couldn't find them. But
I got a friend in Canada that has a YouTube channel. Anyway, he's doing real good, but on one of my videos last summer, I had videoed the ticks crawling up my leg and stuff, and he sent me a private message. He's like, dude, I could handle a bear any day over a tick. He says, we don't have ticks here. I guess he's heard so much bad stuff about them, getting diseases from them and stuff, that he's terrified of them.
yeah, I mean, my aunt, they hunt a lot. She got Lyme's disease pretty bad.
Did you really?
Yeah, and they do all kinds of stuff. Like there's certain ticks you get bit by them, and there's a chance where you like can't eat meat anymore. You like get sick if you try to eat meat.
Really?
Yeah, but
Not
like
heard
with
of that.
me, like I used to, like if I was in the woods, I would like literally like I was training for like football. I do like a kick all the way up to get over the grass, and then every like 20 foot I'd stop and I'd look at my legs and I'd look behind. But I'm not near as bad now. I'm pretty good now. But I'm still, I look a lot. But I use that permethrin.
I'm not terrified of them. Like, I don't want them. You know what I'm saying? I try my best not to get them on me, but I'm not terrified of them as far as getting a sickness. I guess because I've gotten them my whole life and I've never gotten sick from them. But what I do now, if I'm going out, I try to always remember to spray at least from my knees down, all over my boots and my pant legs and everything.
Yeah.
Bug spray, but
I don't like how slow they are. Which you think like, oh, they're slow so you can catch them. I'm like, I just don't like looking, you look at them and they're just slowly climbing up you, and it's like they're on you. Like you try to get them off, like I'll try to flick one off, and somehow me flicking it, it's hooked onto this finger.
Yeah.
And I try to flick it off of the other one, it's on that finger.
Yeah.
Like,
Kind of like Johnny
the best thing you can do with that, Nick, is you just take a knife and heat it up under the fire or a lighter or something. And that's the only been way that I figured like that's when they'll like detach from you. But you always got to make sure too, like if you do get a tick and it does bite into you, is even if you pull the body, if you pull it off, it often on time will just pull the body and not the head, and then the head they can actually reform into a whole new body. So you always want to make sure you get the head out.
You have to, let's like with our cats, like you just want to like rip them off, but we have one of those it's like the tick puller. You do that and then you twist, and that makes sure it gets the head out. Because oh man, I just with me, I guess it's just parasites. Anything parasitic, I just really don't like. But I'm not near as bad as I used to be. I used to be really bad with it, like, but really bad.
That's kind of surprising me because I watched like when you were younger and you were camping out in your backyard and stuff a lot with your friends, and you never seemed to be bothered by anything outdoorsy or
most of the time. Like my original camping videos, I was like so close to the house. I mean, you could see it in the video, and like, that was just mainly in the yard. We used to have a real big yard, but a few of the videos like, with my friends, we went out decently. But it's mainly like my old house and the property there. There wasn't a lot of grass. It was really open. Just there were a lot of trees cleared out of there. But like over here where I hunt ginseng and, go in the fields and everything, through there, like you'll find one of them spots where the sun comes through and there's just a patch of grass. Yeah. I still won't walk through that. I'll walk around that. But I used to be horrible with it. I mean, and I trapped and all this since I was little, and it took a while to get over it.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's one thing I want to do this year is I want to go ginseng hunting. That's been something weird, but it's always been a bucket list of mine is I want to go find some ginseng.
I I planted at least 1,000 plants this last fall, because I have like 2 old growth patches. They're like 40-plus-year-old ginseng, most of them, and the problem is they're logging out most of the area.
Yeah.
And once you log it out and the sun gets on them, they can't handle it. So I found a few like ridges, and I just ran seed all the way across. You can order the seed, but I pulled one root. It was like a 45-year-old root or something, and I put it in a mason jar of Everclear. So whenever I get like a sore throat, I'll take. You don't want more than a tablespoon of that, because it'll feel like your lungs are gone.
Yeah.
And I do that, and then I have no more sore throat. So it does work. But
ginseng
I know
has
overseas,
a tremendous amount of nutrients factor about it.
Yeah. Overseas it's mainly like the eternal thing, but like seriously, it is like a super medicinal plant.
Yeah.
Like, and then on TV there was like Appalachian Outlaws where they're like fighting over it in a mountain supposedly, and it's like this. It's kind of like a moonshine type of thing. It's like it's in the hills and you got to go find it. People are fighting over it.
Yeah.
But it's few and far between. Like, I know a lot of older friends I have, specifically in this area, they used to have patches, and they said, they'd go and it would just all be gone. I mean, there'd be like certain people find patches and it is all gone. So, but what I do is, yeah, was it?
I say that's kind of like our morel mushrooms around here. When you find a good patch, someone will go through and just pick it clean, and then it's pretty much it.
Yeah, like I have one patch that's literally 10 steps off of a main road in the middle of a town. And it like 4 or 5 years ago, like 5 years ago when we first found it, we were the only ones. So I'd go in there like around when the ground temp was right, pick them. Well, now it's turned into, it's like someone's sitting there, just like they're camping there waiting. And they don't even let them get big. They just straight up go in there like the first day they're up and just cut all of them. I mean, they're like, but it used to be, we'd go in there and, they'd be like that.
Yeah.
But now I'm assuming there's multiple people that know about them. So.
Yep. Somebody caught on.
Mm-hmm.
But sounds like. So I have a question it was going to be my last question for Tyler here, but I'll ask both of y'all. We can stay on here forever for all I care, but my question was for you, why do you think, Tyler, your channel was so successful so quick? And most of the people that come into my lives are YouTubers, and they're trying to figure out how to be more successful with their channels. So what's your advice on how to do that for them?
I'm no expert. Okay. Take what I say with a grain of salt. I think one of the main reasons why my channel was so successful in the very beginning is because I was having fun with it. And you can tell my videos. I was having fun. It was new to me. It was new to my subscribers. And I'm someone that I like to think a little different outside the box. So I was doing things differently than most people were doing. Even now, it's crazy to try to be original or something like that. We were talking last night, and I actually have a new series that I want to do. I think it's going to be really cool. I know it hasn't been done on any channel before. But as far as my success, I was persistent, which is a huge factor to it. I was uploading almost daily, which staying relevant on YouTube and pushing content definitely helps. For anyone that's thinking about making a channel, like my buddy right now that's been in my past like 4 or 5 videos. He's starting a YouTube channel, and I'm kind of guiding him through that. My biggest mistake that I made is I never would go out and record a bunch of ventures and then sit on them and edit them and release them slowly. I would go out that weekend, record the video, and I would post it that weekend. And then if something came up, like when I had my daughter and I wasn't able to make it out, I kind of started getting behind, and I started feeling that pressure of I got to get content out. So the biggest thing, like I said, is have fun with it. Don't worry about your numbers. Don't worry about your views. Don't worry about what your content looks like, because it's a learning experience. One day when you're successful and you've got 100,000 plus subscribers, you're gonna look back at some of your first videos and be like, man, those were dog awful. But at the same time, those are the videos that got you to where you are today.
Yeah.
And just keep having fun with it. Just keep trying, try new things, and figure out what works best for you. What works best for Nick is not going to work what's best for me. What works best for me is not going to work what's best for Nick. So
Did you ever make a video where you thought, oh, that was really crappy, and so you just didn't put it out, or did you go ahead and put it out anyway, just to have something to put out?
Yeah. So for the last 3 years, I've been off YouTube. I was making videos nonstop with me and now my ex. Now that we're no longer together no more, I just don't feel right posting them. So that's 3 years of video footages that I don't have anymore.
Oh man.
I do have one YouTube video that's unlisted that I recorded like once I hit my 1,000 subscribers. I recorded a video with my future goals, and it's set to premiere. It's already on a premiere, and it's going to set to upload in 2030. So it's going to be
wow.
yeah, it's going to be cool to see me back then, and then it's going to be a new video on YouTube of a way earlier me. And that's one thing I would recommend for any channel is record a video, talk about what you're going through at this time, day and age, whether it's with YouTube or just your life in general. And then you feel like sharing it, set it to premiere in 10, 15 years. Because one day you're just going to get a random notification saying that your video is premiering. And you're like, I didn't upload no video. And you're going to see a video of your old self. And I think that's
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, Nick, what about you? What's your advice, and how did you get into it and grow so good and all that stuff?
Well, I mean, for the most part, with my channel, it was mainly luck with the 70 subscriber special I did. Like multiple different ways that just went crazy. Like Reddit got a hold of it first. Reddit pushed it. Then YouTube pushed it. Then a few content creators pushed it. Like, I think the biggest thing I've noticed with YouTube is you have to be yourself. Like, you have to be yourself. That's like the biggest thing. And I know, there's formulas where you can be real successful just kind of following a certain plan. But, like I'd say with me, like, with how many subscribers I have now, I mean, that's really not a realistic look at my subscribers. Most of like what I have, I've been losing subscribers like monthly for like over 2 years now. I mean, I've been losing like 400 subscribers a month.
Oh, wow.
For a long time.
Yeah.
And like, even when like that video took off, I knew it was going to do that. Like, I knew that like most of the people that subscribed to that were just kind of like, as a gesture to me, because I was younger and like, silly and stuff, to like, just to lift my channel up. But, over time, now people are like, who is this dude? I don't have the squeaky voice anymore. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with that part. But
Yeah.
like Tyler said, I mean, what works for someone is completely different than someone else. And it's mainly, is your channel going to be off of your personality mainly, or is it going to be off of like your content is so good that your personality doesn't matter,
Yeah.
And those two, like, there's a huge step between those two. I mean,
Absolutely.
for the most part, most people like YouTube because of each person and their personality. That's what I've noticed.
When I started watching you first, Nick, you were young, and one of the things that I did like about it, I mean, and it made me subscribe, was the fact that you were just you. It's like you didn't try to hide the fact that you were out in your backyard, your house is right there. You would try to do things in your tent or try to air up your mouth or something, and things would go wrong. Or you would just be like, well, it ain't working right now, blah, blah, blah. And to me, that's what I really, really liked about your videos is it was just real. You didn't fake stuff. You didn't try to make everything look, the best. And so I've always liked that about channels.
Well, thanks. I don't like, to me personally, it's like I'm not really good at anything. It's like, you know, like I have Bushcraft in my title and everything, and the reason it's still in my channel art is because I forgot to tell my last graphic designer to like not have any text on the thing except my channel name. But like me, I have so many like little hobbies, and I'm not good at any of them, but I stay interested in most of them.
Right.
So I just kind of, most of my videos, you can tell like I don't know much. I'm getting better with stuff. Like I'm starting to finally get better. But I don't know.
See, Tyler says, I want to thank everyone for coming and hanging out in the live.
I was on Facebook and I seen Tyler shared it on there, so I was like, I gotta join because I haven't seen Tyler in a while except on Facebook.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Like I said, I got out of it, man. I wish I would have never did, but
I mean, look at me. I mean, you could call my channel dead currently just because I had a few rough years, but I'm gonna continue. I have some different plans for like future things. So
one of those plans is to come to Iowa. Come out here. We'll go fishing. All that good
I
stuff.
probably will be to Iowa at some point because Iowa Trappers out there.
Yeah, I would recommend coming August because the Iowa State Fair is the biggest fair in the United States. That's one thing that a lot of people. We have people travel from Japan to come to our fair. Lots of good food and stuff. But if you're on a diet, probably not a good idea. I mean, I know when I go there, and I'm walking on for 50 pounds when I leave the fair.
Like I was eating, veggies and bread a bit. It's like, my mom's annoyed again because we were at the store earlier. I'm like, she's trying to help me figure out things to eat. I was like, nope, can't have that. Nope, can't have that. Like, basically, if you're on like a strict carnivore diet, like you can't eat anywhere. Like, unless you want to waste money and buy a meal that you can only eat half of.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's not worth it. And what's crazy with me is I don't like steak anymore. I've eaten so much meat. Like I would rather eat a plain pork chop than a steak.
Yeah.
Like I get grossed out now over it. So it's definitely changed me because most guys will not say, I don't want a steak.
Oh no, I get it, man. You eat the same thing over and over and over again, it gets old.
Yeah.
Hell, when I bought my house, I just bought this house about 6 months ago after the breakup, and just started all over. I didn't have a bed. I didn't have a bed for my daughter. I didn't have a couch. I didn't have a TV. I didn't have silverware. I didn't have nothing. And I spent so much money restarting all over that I literally lived on ramen noodles for like the first month and a half. It was brutal. I mean, I lost 50 pounds. I don't know if you can tell, but I lost a good 50 pounds just because I was so broke. I didn't, really have a whole lot of money to actually make dinners and stuff. But yeah, once you right now, I can't even look at a thing of ramen noodles. I'm just like, oh no, I've had so much breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Those like sit in your stomach too. They just kind of piles. Like,
absolutely.
When's the next archaeological dig video? I will be doing one this year with my archaeological club. We've got a farm where we're gonna do a dig. With me, I kind of just like jumping in and digging, but like with our club, you have to have the grid. You've got a map, exactly where that artifact was, the depth. But
all that fun stuff.
It's still pretty cool. I've really fallen into archaeology. I'm thinking of going to college for it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Well, I've been held down so long. Like I kept calling myself stupid because I come out of school in 9th grade, and just before I left for Texas, I did my GED finally.
Yeah.
It took me a couple weeks. I thought it'd take me forever, but I passed it all first try, so I was pretty happy over that.
Oh man, congratulations on that.
But now I'm looking at community college or junior before I do the rest of the year. But I'm thinking of what I want to do, and anthropology and archaeology, like, they're difficult after you actually graduate, to like get into and get a job with it. But I feel like I'd be so happy with it that even if I was, I don't know.
Wouldn't feel like work.
No.
Yeah. Hey,
Thanks, gold painting. You got any gold painting fans?
Gold panning?
Yeah.
So the last time I gold panned was last, like, towards fall, and it was it's an hour north of Pittsburgh here in Pennsylvania, or like half an hour north. And there's glacial gold from when the glaciers come through. They dropped a bunch of boulders there, and there's this little creek you can go in. And I have a little vial of it. I mean, you can't even weigh it. It's unweighable on my scale. But it's fine little pieces of glacial gold. But now the city's been getting
stuff that I ended up finding when I went out and did that at Ledges. Because that's what happened here. That's why Iowa's so flat. A lot of people don't know that. It's the glaciers. Just came down. But yeah, I found quite a bit of glacier gold. I had it. Went and took it in. Again, it's not really weighable, but I took it in, and they said I had about $27 worth of gold, which that's a lot compared to how small the pieces are.
That's cool. Like, I've never panned for gold at all.
I want to do it again so bad. Like I'm
itching to
go out there and do it.
It's like, in some places you can go pan and like you could actually like break even or like make money with it.
Yeah.
But the problem is like the laws with it. Like, they're so strict with that kind of stuff. So I'm like, this creek, this used to be, the town even knew everyone would go pan, but now they're starting to like, they got, So I'm in a gold panning club. I didn't like actually join it yet, but I'm in their Facebook. But they actually have permission from the city to do it, and they have like a permit for it. So if you join them, then you're allowed to prospect.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool.
So Nick, is your information? I'd like to do a live with you sometime if you're willing. Is your information on your email or something on your description?
It's on it's on the channel bio. It's a weird email. Like, it doesn't match my channel at all, but I wanted it separate from my channel's email.
Oh, that reminds me of something. Nick. So when does everyone else get to hear the chicken?
What is it?
The
song?
I'm telling you what, guys, I'm not gonna say too much, but Nick's not just good at making videos, he's also a good singer too.
Oh wow.
Well, it's funny with that. So I have a recording set up now. I've got I've got studio monitors and all that. Cause
wow.
I used to make like funny, stupid music with my one friend. We're not friends anymore.
Honestly, I'm not making fun of you at all. I actually love that song.
I'm saying, like, I'm actually working on an album, but I'll never have it on my channel because it's a rap album and it would just never match. But I like rap, so it's not like a, it's like a lyrical rap, but it's not like Eminem. It's like a different kind of thing.
I think me and you need to get on the mic one night, make a song.
You could always send me something over.
I'll send it because I actually made a song myself. I haven't released it or told anyone, but
you'll have to send it.
Yeah, I'll have to send it.
Me and my one friend, we have, I think it's over 200 songs now we've made, and it's just been over the course of like 4 or 5 years. And every time we hang out, we'll do like 3 songs, either house. But I have 5 songs that I really like on an actual album. So it's like a little side quest.
I was a drummer my whole life, and then when my son got older, he took over the drums. I started playing bass and being the front guy, and his best friend ended up being our guitarist. And it was awesome, man. We got to travel like the lower states for 2 or 3 years. And all the songs, I would actually like write the lyrics. Like, I can't play guitar, I can play on 2 strings. just enough, 3 chords to write a song. So I would write the songs and then hand it off to them, and they would elaborate and make them really cool and stuff like that. So I'm with you on that too, man. I love studio work. That's what I used to do, that for hours and hours and hours. I mean,
I
I
use
could go all night.
use it. Yeah, I use FL Studio, which is like
Yeah.
I learned that one, and then I have Logic Pro on my Mac, but I like give up on that. That thing just
Yeah.
crashes all the time. So
Yeah, I have the same issue because I have it on my Mac as well, and I've had nothing but crashing issues or just is out.
I bought this iMac in 2019. It was just under 3,000. I mean, I was like, it's like, I'll invest in something like this. At the time, I thought that was
I think mine's literally at 2019 as well, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
and like it's the worst thing I've ever bought.
Yeah.
And I've bought stupid stuff, but like, man, this is a gaming laptop from 2 years ago, and this thing, I mean, it does everything. I mean, I had to get a camera because the camera on it's horrible. So this is a webcam I got, but other than that, I mean, it does everything.
So Pest Hunter says, I'm trying to go on alligator tag for next September. I'm allowed to bring one person. Herbert says, congrats on the GED.
Thanks.
And then
Saying
Herb
about
says,
Bigfoot remains.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Now, what a thought. Nick finds first 10,000-year-old Bigfoot remains intact.
I was going to do some Bigfoot type videos like on the History Channel, that kind of thing, and just kind of act things up. Just it's like I never believe any of the stuff on TV, but like it's kind of fun to watch it. Like it's addicting. There's just something about weird stuff.
Yeah.
There's a subscriber on my channel. He goes by name, I think, Stephen Bogey or something like that. And he's actually one of the producers of Finding Bigfoot. And he talked to me, this was a couple years back, about wanting to come out to I think it was the Great Ozarks or somewhere down in Missouri, the Ozarks, somewhere down in Missouri. They're going to do some filming down there, and he knew I was close and asked if I wanted to tag along as like a special guest or whatever. And yeah, I should have done that. That'd have been pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm pretty skeptic myself. I mean, my daughter's a huge Bigfoot fan. Like every time we go out on the trail, Daddy, let's go find Bigfoot. All right, yeah, let's go.
It's like I've always been super real with this stuff, and like aliens, I 100% believe in, but like not the green ones and saucers. Like different than that. But like Bigfoot, I've never seen Bigfoot. I've seen some Amish before in the woods that you think they're Bigfoot at first and they're not. But I mean,
we got a lot of Amish here.
But like my whole house, like all of my friends, now some of them secretly have phones and I have their numbers, so I could text them. Like if I'm looking for arrowheads or something, they'll go out with me, or if they need drove somewhere. But it's pretty cool around here. I mean, it's calm,
I got a friend that just this morning, put out a video. He's been really hyping it up. I say he's a friend. He's just a YouTube friend. And wherever he lives, not far from me, I think he lives anyway, somewhere up above Missouri. But he said that there was a sighting of Bigfoot, supposedly, and he went to the exact spot. That's what the video was showing this morning. He went to the exact spot that they supposedly saw the Bigfoot or the Sasquatch. And he was filming it, and he was looking all over the ground for footprints. He only found two smears. He said he showed them, it didn't look like footprints necessarily. They were just big smears. He said about 16 inches long, one in front of the other. And he wasn't trying to prove there was a Bigfoot either. He just thought it was interesting. Well, he went back that night at the exact time that they supposedly saw it the night before or a couple nights before. And as he's sitting there filming, I think he was fixing to end his video. I don't know, but he's just sitting there with his phone in the tripod, and he's talking, and he's telling you that right behind these trees is some water of some sort. You could hear all the frogs. Well, while he's talking, all of a sudden the frogs just stopped. And man, you can see his face was just like, and anyway, so he kept talking a little bit, and then all of a sudden he heard a noise like a tree or something had been pushed over, and he kind of jerks. And anyway, he packed his stuff up and left, man. And he still says he's not convinced because I
It's
told him, I said,
probably a beaver. Beaver was laughing at him, probably chopping trees down.
I told him, I said it might have been a cow, man. A cow just probably went and drunk some water out of that little pond or something.
A
And
lot of when I see people explaining when they seen Bigfoot, it just sounds like black bear standing up and then, getting back down and running away or something like that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times when I see that,
my
like,
thinking is, with all the, I mean, a lot of people say this, but with all the technology, there is no way that there ain't. I mean, there should be thousands of videos and pictures. If I mean, at least a few modern ones, you know.
The same thing.
Maybe-
I hear that they have like the altered universe or a dimension that they can just walk through, like this portal of this dimension. I don't know. I'm skeptic to
if
say.
there were portals and dimensions, I think we'd have more scary things to worry about.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
Maybe they just wear like John Cena hats, and whenever someone like almost sees them, they just do the hand wave and they're out.
Now you
I
see
think
me.
that might be it.
Now you don't. Yeah. But
Sorry, I'm
I'd love to stay. I have got to get up. I got to get going. I got to put my daughter to bed and whatnot. So I want to thank everyone for stopping in and asking questions and all that good stuff. And I want to thank you, Randy, for having me come on, and Nick, thank you for joining as well.
Man, I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on. I really do. I was looking forward to it. Told a lot of people about it. I got real excited when I saw you on there the other day. I was kind of surprised you agreed to come on with me, but I appreciate it a lot.
Not a problem. You guys all take care and be safe, and God bless.
All right, man. You too.
We'll see it.
See you.
Now, Mike, I'm not a hater, okay? I'm not like 100% no, it's not a thing. Because there used to be giant apes on the planet, but they were across the ocean. But
Mhm.
anything's possible.
Yeah.
I would love to see one. Trust me, I'd love to film one. I would love that.
Would you
I'd
rather
like
see that? Would you be scared?
Probably. I know, like, people that say they see them, like they just stop and stare at them. I don't think I'd be just staring. I don't know. I haven't seen one, so I don't know. But like, if you seen like an 8-foot tall ape thing like looking at you, would you like?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so let me tell you this story. This is for real. I have my friend. He was my best friend. We became best friends when we were 18 years old. He died this past spring, I think, or past summer, last spring, whenever it was. I can't remember. I think it's almost a year now. I think, yeah. He is. I know him better than probably anybody on this earth. I would think. He was the most honest guy about everything, and he wouldn't lie. He wouldn't make stuff up. Anyway, so when he got sick with cancer, he told me one day, he says, I'm going to tell you something. He said, the only other person I've ever told is my dad. And he said, you're going to think I'm crazy. I'm like, well, what is it? And he said he was driving down around, it was in Missouri, I think, actually. But he said he was driving down the highway with his wife, and off to the right, as he was driving down the highway, he said he saw what was a Sasquatch. And it was like walking along the edge of the trees. And he said it freaked him out so bad because he's never believed in them at all. And he said, in his opinion, he said, yeah, maybe it could have been somebody in a suit, but in his opinion, it didn't look like it was possible that could have been a human being, the way it was walking and stuff. So he said that as soon as he found a way to turn around, he did because he wanted his wife to see it, but he said he never saw it again. And he said the only person he ever told was his dad. His dad made fun of him. And so he said at that point, he decided not to tell anybody ever again. He told me just before he died. So out of everybody I know for a fact he's not lying. I mean, I don't know what it was. It could have been somebody in a suit, but I know he wouldn't be lying about it.
Yeah, like, I've always believed in life on other planets, just because there's so many planets. It's like impossible for there not to be. But like, as far as things close to our planet, like I was always super against like that. But there was one night I was camping with my friend, and I wasn't filming or anything. It was just like a camp out in my yard here, and it was like 2 a.m. And I went out to pee. I was like, okay. So I look up. Keep in mind, there's like no light pollution here. We're in the middle of nowhere, so you can see everything. So I look up. There's the tree line, and then just above the tree line, there was like, if you were to take a 2x4, perfectly symmetrical, the edges are perfect, just a 2x4, and you were to make it massive and put it up in the sky, and you turned it neon blue with a glow around it. I seen that. So I was like, what is that? So it was like this, and here's the trees. It started going down like below the trees, and then it come back up, and then it like twisted like this. It spun, it went backwards, went up again, and then it did that diagonal pattern, and it went back down to the trees, and it was gone. Halfway through it doing that, because I always mess with my friend, I was like, hey, there's something in the sky. We're always looking for stuff. He didn't believe me. So when I finally convinced him that I wasn't joking, he come out, and he seen it as it was going down below the trees. But
What did he think?
he was freaked out.
Yeah.
I was more like, and here I am like saying all these times, oh, people see weird things in the sky and they don't film it, like they have their phone on them. Well, in that case, I didn't have my phone on me. I mean, and if I would have ran to get my phone out of the tent, then
It'd have
I
been
would have
gone.
missed it.
Yeah.
So like,
So I think it was the very beginning of winter, or maybe it was I think it was the very beginning of winter or fall. I was camping out. My boss, happens to be my best friend now, he has 20 acres, and that's where I do a lot of my camping. And so I'm out there in my tent in the middle of the night, and I'm pretty far from his house. I mean, you can't go real far in 20 acres, but I wake up in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden I'm seeing, okay, this was during the time they were talking about the China balloon all over the United States. Remember that?
Yeah.
So all that talk was there. I went to sleep thinking about all that stuff. But when I wake up, I'm just seeing just lights, man, like crazy lights just flashing all through my tent, my hot tent. And I'm just thinking, what in the world? And I'm hearing this. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, there's a spaceship hovering over me right now. It was so terrifying. I was so scared. Well, I finally got the nerve after a while, because it wasn't stopping. I got the nerve to look out. And when I did, way across the acreage at my boss's house, they had to call the ambulance for his father-in-law was having some medical issues. And that's what it was. It was the rumbling of the ambulance, and all the lights were shining that far. But just the fact that it was mixed in with the China balloon, and I was all thinking about it when I went to sleep. And well, I tell you, your mind can make you think up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's like, I first started camping by myself. I used to be like kind of scared with it, and just being alone at dark. I gotten over that a while ago, but I used to like, the more like I'd be up later and later and later, and the more tired I used to get. It's like when you have a fever and you're up late, you like start to see things at times.
Yeah.
So I would like, I think something standing behind a tree and watching me, or just your mind can really make you see things, especially at nighttime. But yeah, you probably thought that was it. You probably thought if you got out of that tent, you were gone.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna suck me up or something. My mind plays game. There was another time I was camping on his property. This kind of people they are. So him and his brother and another coworker of mine, because my best friend, he's my boss too. So we got me and him and our other coworker all hanging out. And well, they had met at his house to go out and eat. I was going camping out on the acreage, and I think it was my first camp out of the year. And I'm out there camping and I'm cooking. And while I'm out there cooking, I'm just hearing more wild animals than I've ever heard in my life. Ever kind of animal you could think of, man. And I kept mentioning that even on my video. I kept saying, "Man, did y'all hear these animals? Can't believe there's this many animals out here." And hoot owls and coyotes and well, here after a little bit, I start hearing noise and I look over and I see a light and my heart drops and of course my adrenaline's rushing, but then I realize it's my boss and I just tried to play it off like no big deal. But then the dog comes out of nowhere and jumps up at me, and I'm all I was terrified, dude. What happened to be them? They had a recording of all these wild animals, and they were playing it on their big uh, car stereo off in the distance.
I know, like you were saying earlier, like, yeah, he was explaining when, everything went quiet, like the frogs went quiet and everything.
Right.
I've had that happen a few times.
Mm-hmm.
The one time, now I know I don't believe in Bigfoot and all that yet because I haven't seen him, but me and my friend were on this, gas well trail, and we were using it to cut back through to get to a field to another nature trail. So this is through like, these big cedar trees. It's pretty open. I mean, there's a lot of trees, but the branches on those are so high up that you can see all the way through. So we never seen anything. But as we went through, was not a woodpecker. It wasn't even a pileated woodpecker, like a big one. It was like a thump on a tree. As we go through, we'd hear a thump behind us.
Yeah.
We go up a little bit more. We'd hear one up further in front of us. Keep going along the trail. Another one behind us in a different position. It was probably about 10 of those big thumps throughout our walk through this trail, and we had no idea what it was. And then there's another time when what was it? I was really young, like I was little, and I was doing a trap line in our backyard up to our old neighbor's farmhouse in this creek. And there was ice. I was setting weasel boxes and stuff, and just there was ice I was walking on. Well, I look and there's just a little bit of like fresh snow, and there were fresh coyote tracks like right on the ice. So I'm going through, and like another couple minutes goes by. Well, there's all these birds in the winter there. We have starlings and just there's so much noise. It went dead silent, like dead
just
silent.
like those frogs, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh no. So I was small. I just ran back because I was like, there is no way I'm going to keep walking up. Like the birds are up there so they can see everything down. I'm like, they probably see the coyote right now.
Right.
So I just went back.
Yeah.
But,
and probably the worst thing a person could do is run.
What's up, Lower?
So Pest Hunter says that's why when I go out in public, I wear clothes. I don't want to be mistaken for Sasquatch. Woodsman.
Yeah.
Ozark's Woodsman. He's got a story on his channel where he was being tormented by something in the woods. He eventually just started shooting at it. And there ended up being nothing there. But anyway, he says non-believers until the rocks start showing up. That's what was happening to him. He was around a campfire by himself at night.
They say that rocks.
Rocks were being thrown at him. Let's see. Ken, Bigfoot is here in North Carolina in the Wahara National Forest. Ask 12 Stones Adventures. He'll tell you.
I tell you what, with like the property I go arrowhead hunting on, and squirrel hunting and ginseng, all that. It's all of my Amish neighbors. I've had shotgun the noise is right at me. Like they're shooting
Yeah.
something. So
Yeah.
I have a bright orange fluorescent hat. It's got
Yeah.
a little arrowhead on it, but other than that, it's just, so I always have that thing on. So I'm like,
I don't blame you. My neighbors shoot a lot, and they're close, real close. But it's not because uh, I live in the hood for real, like the hillbilly hood. The other day, I was trying to record a video, and you could hear the gunshots. I mean, like maybe a football field away or less. They shoot all the time, but
I haven't shot in a while. It's just so expensive now for ammo. So I'm like, but
no,
usually like they do the the tannerite and stuff around us. You'll just hear like, then everyone on Facebook in the town, they'll be like, "What was that noise?
yeah,
Something is something wrong?" But it's just someone, they have a beaver dam or something that they
yeah. And
have
what
that.
state are you in?
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Everybody is from Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Everybody I meet is from Pennsylvania.
I'm northwest. I'm like 40 minutes south of Erie, and I'm like Ohio's like 20 minutes from here, the line. So we'll get
Yeah,
gas there sometimes because it's way cheaper.
yeah,
But kind of in a
yeah.
weird spot. Like for Pennsylvania, like my area, we're in the snow belt, so we get hammered with snow because Lake Erie. And then, this time of year we get tornadoes all the time because it funnels right along the lake from Ohio,
Right.
and it cuts right onto us. But
So Minnesota Mike says I'd have to change. He heard our stories. He said I'd have to change my shorts.
yeah,
Adventure
I think he was
again.
saying, I think he put that whenever we were saying, what would you do if you've seen one?
Oh, okay. So I'm way behind. Let's
Yeah,
see.
and I used to use StreamYard, and it's delayed too with the chat on here. I remember that.
Yeah,
I haven't I haven't joined like a panel in a long time. I used to go on a bunch of panels, but then my one good friend passed. Stein North was his channel, and he
yeah.
was the one that he did the panels and everything. But once he passed, we just kind of he was like the keystone to it.
How
So
old was he?
um oh man, I want to say right around 70, a little
Okay,
before.
so
He he
older
he,
guy.
had, he got cancer. Um, I think it was around. He was around. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he was around there or a little bit, possibly younger.
Yeah,
No. He was 70 or a little bit over. But I actually a year before he passed went up, and me and my old friend, we went up there and we camped out and everything. But we had plans. Me and him were going to go to Montana and all this, but then that
yeah.
happened. But I'm still going to go up there for him because his son knows all the areas that he wanted to take me. So I'm going to do a
Right.
trip up there. And
Oh, that's cool. That'd be really cool. Let's see here. Pest Hunter Outdoors. It's all the ghost stories when we were children to give us warning not to go out in the woods by ourselves.
I actually plan on um, during this October, I plan on doing campouts at haunted places, or like places where they've seen cryptid things,
Uh-huh.
and I plan on camping there for October. I'm not going to be in no abandoned building, but if there's like somewhere outside where something was spotted and I can camp.
So you missed it. I was talking about 3 weeks ago. I decided to do my first stealth camp, and I did it at nighttime. Well, I started off in the day, but I freaked out, man, because the area you have to walk down these tracks, railroad tracks, and on one side is water, on the other side's water, but across the water is a big resort, so people can see you if you're out there. But walking down these tracks, you have to go under this bridge, and there was people camped out under this bridge, and it's right next to an alcohol store down below. It was freaky, dude. And I got to this bridge area where it used to be really pretty. It was all spray painted and trash like you wouldn't believe. Anyway,
Yeah.
I got freaked out and I left, but it made me mad. As soon as I got home, I started just like being so mad at myself, and I'm like, man, I got to go back and redeem myself. So I went back that night, recorded it, went down the tracks in the total darkness, went back up under that little area bridge where all the paint was, and I freaked out again because I thought I was seeing stuff there that I didn't see earlier. Yeah, and I left again.
Fear tries to guide you with your eyes. If you don't listen to your head, then it's like, okay, I'm gonna make you see things that like really
Yep.
make you change your mind.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, you never know in areas like that. I mean, it's like that around here, especially my town's like that. There's 300 people in my town,
Yeah.
but
I used to
you
live
always
in
gotta be
little towns
careful.
like that.
Stealth camp. I've never done a stealth camp, mainly because one of my problems is I can't handle confrontation. Like my anxiety goes through the roof.
Yeah.
So like it like if someone was to come out and like bust me camping somewhere, I'd probably like not even know what to do.
Yeah.
But I plan on doing some like I mean I did some at Walmart. It's not really stealth camping because people do that all the time.
Hmm.
But I have some little plans, but I'm not gonna like Steve Wallace does some crazy ones.
Yeah.
But
I will. I won't do anything illegal. I wanted to. I tell you what, I wanted to do a couple of years ago because everybody was doing it online, and I thought it'd be kind of cool. Is I wanted to go into a Target and crawl up into the clothes and stay in Target overnight. Up and sleeping in the clothes area. But I probably wouldn't do something like that. I do want to go where there's lots of people that can see and try to hide out from them, but not a place where I'm going to get arrested if I get caught or something, you know? So it's still, I think it'll still get your heart to pumping, just to be seen. And
yeah,
especially, and if cops come up, I think in most places, if cops come up and you're like, I'm with a YouTube channel, blah, 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 they're going to be like, okay, well, you probably need to move on, go somewhere else.
I
Probably
know
not going
that
to be that.
there's a few cool places like in my town, but
Yeah.
some of the people are just so nosy. I mean, there's this old abandoned, it's a pickle factory, and it's just a
Oh,
big brick building that people go in all the time. And it would be a really cool camp. But, just me and a couple of my friends this Halloween we were walking and it's by itself, like on its own road. Well, we just walked up to it. We didn't even go in or anything, and within 5 minutes, keep in mind there's no police station anywhere near us. There were three troopers, state troopers pulled up in cars.
yeah.
Like, this was at like, it was like 8 at night. It wasn't even real late, and someone just had to call. I mean,
Yeah.
we were just looking at the building, and we'd even go in the thing. Like,
Oh, wow. Did they confront you?
yeah, the cops, they cut us off in the road, and pretty much just said, hey, like we're walking around for Halloween. It's not even real late. And the cop said, okay, but he said, you guys understand, you gotta leave now. We're like, yeah, because some of the people in town, I mean, even kids playing basketball and they get annoyed. Like
Yeah.
if they could call the cops on that, they would. But
Yeah. I know people like that. So there's a
um,
question for you here.
yeah, the Jackery unit, I still have that set up. It's really nice. I can't remember exactly how many times we've used it now for power outages. Luckily, we have a wood stove, so we don't rely on like a furnace or something. But um, I want to say like 7 or 8 power outages we've had since I've had that Jackery set up. And I just swap over the transfer switch, and then we have power. I mean, it even has the power to run like. There were a few times when I turned it on and the space heaters were still plugged in. It would kick on all the space heaters, the fridge, all the lights in my room, all the lights in the living room, my parents' room. Um, the Wi-Fi would be on, TV would be on. I could have music on, and it would run like that for hours with all that stuff. But if I mean, if you just want to run lights in a fridge or whatever, I mean, you could make that thing last a while.
Wow.
I understand it is pricey, and like Tyler Wood said something, good earlier. Like, I don't like getting things that I wouldn't personally buy. Like, I get an extreme amount of emails. Even now, like, since I haven't had many views and whatever, I still get a bunch of emails from companies. So, like Jackery, I've always liked Jackery. And yeah, I mean, it's a good setup. I would recommend it. I know it is a little costly, but
So do you take most of the offers or do you turn most of them down?
I'd say like 80% down or 90%. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And I mean,
why?
if you go on my channel, it's every other video, I'll do collaboration, but if I did all of them, it would just be like, if I was a viewer, that would just annoy me. And for me personally,
Yeah.
if I did that, I'd just feel like a sellout. So like,
Yeah.
So
There's
I really enjoy the e-bikes. I can't really ride them now because that's like where my back's bad. Like it focuses right on the bottom, so I can't really ride them yet. But I love the e-bikes that I've had from companies. And the power packs, I like the power packs because I like comparing them.
yeah.
I'm able to compare them. Like for the companies, you don't want to tell them, hey, there's other ones I've done, and I want to compare them down the road. But you'll get a power pack that's 1,000 watts. You get one from another company that's 1,000 watts. It might be 200 less. So I like trying them all.
Yeah. So there's a guy that was my favorite YouTuber for a long time. I mean, when I very first started, and he was always in the woods, always doing bushcraft stuff. But he's kind of he's redneck guy. You probably know him. It's the Outdoors McGee. And
I think I've seen his channel. Yeah.
yeah, anyway, he's real redneck and stuff like that, and he's just hilarious, man. And there was a time with him where he kept accepting these e-bike offers, and his channel totally changed. It's like he was always riding his bike to places instead of out in the woods, and I think it ended up hurting him, his channel for it, and so he quit doing it. But then the other day he said that he's going to do it again, just not as much, because he said those bikes actually were making his house payment for him.
Yeah,
So
I mean, there's okay, so there's been a lot that I've turned down e-bike wise. I haven't had an email from a company in months, but it's mainly because it's they'll look up the state you're in and then see the season, and then they won't even email. But
yeah,
like there's something about e-bikes that I absolutely love. But there were times I'd get emails from companies, and they want to send like a tricycle, like just a 3-wheeled electric bike. And
that would
those,
be cool.
the only thing with those is most companies underpower them. They'll put like a 500 watt on them, and
Yeah,
in my opinion, 500 watts just not enough. Like if you want to do like decent trips and stuff. But the problem with those is you get comfortable on them, because you don't have to really balance.
yeah,
You hit their flipping point, and they just tip over.
yeah,
So I get nervous with those. And then like the companies that have reached out to me before, I mean, the wheels are so small. Like I understand you can't have a 3-wheeled like fat tire bike because that would just really take a lot of power. But e-bikes, honestly, like they're one of my favorite things by far. They are amazing. I wish more people had them. But yeah, I got like that too at one point. I was kind of slow with uploads. And then I would take e-bike sponsorships, and then like I wasn't thinking because I felt like I was putting out more content in between. But then I went on my channel. I was like, oh, those are kind of close. I'm like, so I got like that too. And I'm not 100% sure, but that can never help. Over
right. Yep.
having, even if it helps you a lot, it's like I've kind of gotten to that point. Even now, I'm guilty of the same thing, like with past sponsorships, because I've been slow with normal uploads that aren't sponsored, and then I'll get one that's sponsored, then the next one will be. So it's like, but I've had some offers just recently, and I've just kind of put them on hold until I've got
Yeah.
more stuff out.
I've had
But
several offers and I've only accepted one. It was for a chair. And I think it was a good chair, but it's just I didn't like it for me, but I think it was a good quality chair, probably.
yeah,
But the other stuff that came in was like really cool stuff, but they just wanted so much. This one was some sort of hatchet company and stuff, and they wanted that you had to advertise them on every video and have their little logo in the corner while your video's playing. And I mean, it was a lot they were wanting. And I was just like, no. And then one of my friends he was in here. I don't know if he still is, 210 Outdoors. He got an offer from, I don't know if it's the same company, but it was similar. But they wanted him to go online and buy the stuff and give them a 5-star review. And then they would, you know,
reimburse.
reimburse them. And he's
Yeah,
like, I ain't doing that.
they will follow through, but there's one thing I've always held, even at times when I've over sponsored videos, like um, you know, I've had companies reach out. First of all, here's one of them, like mobile video game companies.
Uh,
They offer me a lot of money, and I'm just like, it's not worth it. It's like, my channel it's outdoors and
right.
hobbies like that. If I was to put on a mobile video game ad, even
Yeah.
if I got paid decent for it, like it wouldn't be right. And then I'll have companies email, and some of them are good offers, but then they send a contract, and in the contract they say, um, uh, they say influencer a lot when in their
Right.
contract.
Yeah.
Said influencer party B will not talk bad at all about product. It's like, you know, it's not a review, is it then? It's you just want me
Right.
to say
Promote.
that this is great and I
Yeah.
love this. You know, I've had companies before where, they didn't ask for anything like that, and I get the product and I have problems with it.
Hmm.
And before I even put the video, I'm like, look, I had problems with this. I can't hide this because, if someone buys it and they have the same problem, then what I
Right.
didn't tell them or warn them about it. So I've had a few companies, like even with an e-bike, I had problems with an e-bike, and I emailed them and they said, it's all right, just keep the bike. And they said, we're not going to work with you anymore. I'm like, okay. But,
Yeah.
you know, some companies, they want you to talk good about them. And like with the reviews like that, they do that a lot. Most reviews you find on like a cheaper camping product,
Uh-huh.
it could be like a little cook stove or a light or a plate, a mess kit. And you look at the reviews, and most of them say collected as part of promotion.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Uh,
Honda 250.
Lower Michigan says e-bikes would be cool to do a camping video with. It will definitely be worth doing some. I know a YouTuber that's got about 15 of them, and they have come in handy, different videos.
They really are they are an amazing thing. Seriously, like, I mean, I've done trips. Like, I have a dual battery bike, which I've had problems with. I think it's the Charger actually, but it's a dual battery, 750-watt bike. It's called a Raton. The name's a little weird. It's called a Pinus. I'll say Pinus. It's spelled a little specific, but um, that thing, even with my old weight on it, and I had a huge basket on it full of stuff, I would ride that thing for like 6-7 hours.
Yeah.
Wait, like from my house to Lake Erie. into Ohio and back was the one trip I did.
Oh,
And I was able to conserve enough power. I would say on average I did about 20 mile an hour, but I pedaled a lot. But I still had like 1 out of the 10 bars of battery left when I got back home.
yeah.
No gas used. It was a nice ride. It's really not that slow. That bike actually peaks out on flat. I've had it like 36. It'll go.
I've
But
never even been on one.
they are seriously amazing. I would say, like, my key things with an e-bike is if you're getting an electric bike, then more than likely you're going to want to use electric. So don't get like a slim tire bike. I'd recommend getting a fat tire.
Right.
I would say at least a 750 watt motor.
Right.
1,000 watts better, obviously, but you won't use as much power with the 750. But I'd say at
What
least
about
750. Was it?
what about going up hills, steep hills?
Yeah. I mean,
No problem.
no. I mean, 500 watt. I don't think it's enough. Like 750 will pull me up my hill. My hill's like this, like for
Right.
a while, and it'll do like 5-6 mile an hour up that if I don't pedal. The 750 will. But for the most part, you can get up a hill easy.
Random Adventures. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know when he said it. He's probably gone now, but he says Random Adventures 2.0. Hey, Nicholas.
Oh yeah, that's Tony.
Yeah.
Trying to. Top Shop said, then the mountain lions in the western states to me is the most dangerous. Oh yeah, the problem with those is like they just sit in a tree, and like when they kill deer or whatever, they just jump down, and they use their force to snap the neck. It's like you don't know anything. You just feel claws for like a millisecond, and then that's it.
What is it you're talking about?
He's saying about mountain lions in the
Oh,
western
okay.
states.
Yeah. I used to be in Boy Scouts, and we'd camp all the time out at Fort Davis Scout Ranch in Fort Davis, Texas, and we would see mountain lions all the time. They called them mountain lions, but they were always pretty small, and they never bothered us. They just were always real curious. Oh, Random Adventure says he's still alive.
Yeah, Lower Michigan. Yeah, I mean,
Hey, Random, if you want to come in, if somebody can post that link, it'd be really cool.
yeah, Lower Michigan. I've actually turned down some really nice collaborations just because you can't be honest. It's I know some people don't have a problem with that, but like me, that would I wouldn't be able to sleep over something like that. As simple as that is, I'd be like, I just couldn't.
Did I miss anything else on here? I remember I think it was your first e-bike ever, because I remember,
It was an orange one. It was my first one.
I don't remember the color. I just remember thinking, okay, this is weird, because I had never seen anybody do an e-bike at that point,
Mm.
and it didn't seem to fit the other stuff I had seen you do up to that point. But it was pretty cool. But then I don't know what happened. It's like you disappeared one day.
Yeah, I mean, it is my fault. How everything slowed way down. I could have done real well for years, but I had some very bad issues, and
Uh-huh.
I've just been getting over that like the past year. But like since I was little, I had it, and it just got worse and worse and worse until like I was shut down. I couldn't do anything. Like that's why I come out of school and everything.
Right.
But now I'm better, so I have some plans, to start getting at it again, and I'm thinking even college and all that, just all kinds of stuff at once. But YouTube, I could say they censored me and pushed me down and all that, but the fact is I have a lot of subscribers, but most of them were just for that the Blizzard video,
Right.
and most just kind of were like, oh, I'll sub to him to like boost his channel. And that's the problem is, they were all for that video, and
Yeah.
most don't want to see everything else I do. So, I did a lot of what I do after that, because up until that video, I never did a camping video. My video was a trapping channel. I
Okay.
posted trapping videos, and I was 15 when I started, or 15, I think. But I did trapping videos, and then to celebrate for my supporters from those videos, I did the camping video. Well, it figures the camping video that was a special is what, went crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have plans. It might not work. I know I'll never get to the peak that I was at. I mean, I have to keep it real with myself.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to keep losing subscribers. I'll probably end up at like 400,000 eventually here, or even less than that, which I'm completely fine with.
Oh, is that all?
What is it? Yeah, I know. Like, it's always been weird with me. Like, I know I've always, thanked for subscribers, and I always would do updates like thanks for blah 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 subscribers.
Mhm.
I never cared about the subscriber count. It's mainly been like thanks to people that support, which I know this is the same as subscribers, but like I see it differently because like I have a community on my channel. I'd say there's about 3,000 on my channel where for years they've been like my core
Right.
like community. Like they've always
Mhm.
been there on my channel. So,
Yeah.
they're most of my subscribers, they're like ghost accounts at this point. I mean, I bet you a handful don't even go on YouTube anymore. It's just from years ago when they subscribed.
Right. That
But
that's the same way I feel. Um, I feel like I don't have that many subscribers, but I feel like the majority I have probably don't even watch anymore because my videos used to do a lot better than they're doing now, but it's still the same quality of video at least, and I don't feel like I've changed much of anything. I have been thinking about rebranding my channel a little bit. I've been researching it and checking into it to see if it's a good thing or a bad thing, and the majority of people that have been successful say it's not that big of a deal to switch over if you want to, if you feel like you need to rebrand yourself or something.
I know it is. It definitely is harder for an all-around outdoor channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, I get flags all the time and warnings. Actually, my channel almost got banned a few years back over slingshot videos.
Really?
And yeah. And
Wow.
then a lot of my older videos, where I was using a BB pew or, pellet pew,
Uh-huh.
I, I was younger then. And even though I had, goggles
Oh,
on and stuff,
yeah.
YouTube dug back into those videos from a long time ago. So I had a whole series called Target Practice Tuesday. I had to like take down all of those because if I would have left them up, right now my channel wouldn't exist. They
Wow.
started going through my old videos, and even though it was, they shouldn't have done it, they did. So I was like, okay, I can't fight it. So I had
Right.
to private all of my old target practice videos.
Yeah.
And soon here I'm going to have to private my trapping videos from when I started because they're starting to go back at those.
Yeah.
I won't delete them, and more than likely I'll download everything onto like
Yeah.
multiple separate drives,
Right.
and then I'll have them private on YouTube. So if I ever had to delete them off YouTube fully, then I'll still have them. But it
Mhm.
sucks. It's part of, I was like 15
Right.
on YouTube in those videos. Now I'm 22. I'll be 23 in like 10 days.
Yeah.
So like, it's
You're
it's
April baby.
yeah.
Me
Well,
too.
that's what sucks with me is my birthstone is a diamond.
Mine
It's
too.
the most expensive one. It's like I can't go get myself a diamond pendant for my birthday.
Yeah. Mine's April 6th. I'm 2 or 3 days away from mine. But
Well, I guess mine's over 10 days. The 18th is mine.
there's a guy that I watch. I don't want to say he's a kid, but I think he probably is a kid. 15, 16 maybe. I don't know. But he just popped up on my thing one day, and I like weird stuff, like odd, different things. Well, this dude is obsessed with like lawnmower engines and go karts, and to me, it's just interesting to watch him tear one apart and build something. To be so young and be able to do all that. Anyway, so I watched him, and here a while back, I mean, he don't have a big fan base or anything like that. But if his video pops up, I'll still watch it for him. But one video popped up one day, and I went to go watch it, and then poof, it was gone. And so I sent him a message on one of his other videos, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, I was trying to watch your video, and it disappeared. What happened?" Well, they got him for riding his lawnmower without a helmet on, and so he had to redo the video. And then there's a son and dad that does video, Speed Bump. Have you seen them? They're pretty big out of Oklahoma.
Speed bump?
Yeah, they go
No.
and get these junk cars out of junkyards, take them home and rebuild them. And well, the kid, his son, is the one that started the YouTube, and they're huge, man. They're huge now. But he got flagged or banned. One of their videos got banned or something. And they started getting threatened for their whole channel to get banned because he had started up a car without his dad around. And so on one of his other videos, he's like, he works on this car by himself, and he's like, and now he says, I'm gonna have to get my dad to start the car to see if it works. And he winks at the camera, and then you don't see who's in the car, you just hear it starting up.
Yeah,
It was
because
pretty funny.
luckily I was able to keep at least one on my channel because I was sponsored by Henry Rifles a few years back. He didn't even want me to make a video or anything, but I was like, out of appreciation, I would do practice with them. But
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna even take that down because they've they threatened it one time and I won the appeal, but like they're gonna do it again. So I'll probably remake everything now that I'm the age I am, and I'll make sure in the video, like I'll start the video like right in the camera with giant goggles on, like huge earplugs,
Yeah.
like I don't know, a ballistics vest, I don't know what else they want, but
So do you think it's your age that they were concerned with more than
I think so. I think it was more of the age than the fact that I was target practicing.
there's
I'd say they're close though. The reason they found him is because of the target practice, and then they looked into it and found a way to get him off of there, basically.
there's a guy that I watch, you may know him. He's fairly popular. Hang on, Hudson Hertz. He makes slingshots. I love watching him make slingshots. But he also hunts. He's getting more into hunting now than the slingshots. But I think I mean, he started around 15, and he's got videos all over the place of him shooting with no protective gear on. The last video he did was him and his friend out hunting by themselves, barefoot, out in the jungle type thing, killing animals. It shows them cutting them open, ripping stuff out, and everything.
That's like me, like, there's videos I have. I'm gonna have to private them because eventually they'll get me on them. But there's a video I have where it was a time lapse of me when I was younger, like fleshing and boarding like 30 muskrat or something. Or there was one where I was showing how to process a chipmunk, how
Yeah.
to do the pelt. Just like I already know they will eventually, get those. So
Yeah.
chat's popping up. Let me see here.
Man,
Yeah, that's true. Top
have you
Shot.
ever trapped? Sorry.
That was good.
Have you ever trapped a muskrat? Go ahead. I'll let you read them. I don't know where you're
Oh,
at.
okay. Have you ever trapped muskrat and then made muskrat tacos? It's the new hamburger. I remember back in the day, I was a youngster in my 40s, and it was so good. You just had to season it up. I was gonna do it this year. I caught my season was short this year. I caught caught 5 muskrat. But the problem with me and muskrat is I've gone to eat them a few times. Because when you skin them, there's no hair or anything on them. It's not like a squirrel or a rabbit where it's just like, you're one wrong movement away from just fur all over the meat, and you have to clean it. But with muskrats, there's always been something that's grossed me out with them. And although they're kind of clean, they smell kind of sweet to me. It's just some kind of like sweet smell to them that throws me off. Like I feel like if I roast one and I bit it and like that smell I'm so used to when I'm skinning them hits me as I'm eating it, I don't know if I do well. I will eventually eat a muskrat, but like, just when you're skinning them and like, just spill out. I'm like,
You
what's
sound like me, man.
is I'm kind of a germaphobe. Like,
Yeah, me too.
with people germs. But like when it comes to like animals, like I'll be skinning them. I mean, my face is just like, my shirt's covered and like, but like people germs, I'm like a little weird with. I have had, what was it? Bobcat, beaver, alligator, which most people
How's
have
the
had.
beaver?
Huh?
How is the beaver?
Well, there were a lot of jokes when we had that, but it's pretty.
Is it like squid, texture wise?
No. It's like if you get really, really cheap. Let me think here. So like Slim Jims, like the Slim Jim brand, like if you have one
Yeah.
of those, it's kind of like that greasy
Yeah.
texture. Just imagine that like stringy, still meat, like not ground up, that kind of.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not horrible like if you put seasoning and stuff with it, but it's like I don't know. Bobcat, I didn't think I'd like Bobcat, but they put like a Cajun seasoning with it, and that was
uh-huh.
really good. And that's the same time I had elk for the first time, and ever since then I've wanted elk meat, but it, really isn't elk around here.
Man, I can't even do deer. I can't handle the wild gamey taste.
There's something like I absolutely love deer. Like it has to be done right though, because some people, they'll try to get the most meat they can, especially around the glands,
Mhm.
and they even put like a little slice of that into the ground meat, and
Yeah.
it's just all through it. But like for me, I really like dry meat. Like I love deer just because it's super dry, and like when I eat, I drink like a lot of water with it.
Yeah.
So, but I'll just have it like with mustard, and I'll just dip it in mustard or like I did, I had onions on it before, but now I'm back to not even eating vegetables. So
It seems like when most people cook it, to me, it tastes like liver.
yeah, see, I can't stand liver.
I
If it's
can't eat it.
if it's processed well, specifically with dough, I mean, if it's done well, really, it's not really gamey.
Yeah.
But like, you get like an old buck or there's just many ways to mess it up.
Yeah. I've heard this last camp out that I was on with all these other guys. One of the guys there cooked some deer meat, and I ate a piece of it, and it really tasted good. But I felt like I could faintly taste deer. It's probably in my mind, and so I didn't want no more.
See, with me, especially with wild game, I can't do medium or rare. There's no way. It has to be well
Yeah.
done with me. It's just
Yeah.
I know it's not like a manly thing, but like
Well,
the I don't like that blood taste in wild game.
you're
It's
more
got
manly than me, man. You've already had a bunch of that stuff. I hadn't even tried none of that stuff other
I
than
did
deer.
like alligator. The problem with alligator is like if you cannot let that cool down. You better
Yeah.
eat that while it's still like on fire. I mean,
Okay.
while the oil's still like popping off of it, because you wait and it just turns into like just like this real stringy, fatty piece of meat. It's like so hard to eat it. But
Hmm.
when we had it, they put like Italian breadcrumbs on it and then Cajun on it,
Yeah.
and that was pretty good.
I think them Duck Dynasty people eat alligator.
I know a lot of people do eat it. I would like to hunt one day. I know they got a ton of
I,
them
would,
down there.
I wouldn't mind doing that. Minnesota Mike says, Randy, that boy, the one I was telling you about, he said it was called Speed Bump Garage with the Ranchero.
Top Shop said, "Happy birthday, Ozark. My birthday is 2 days after yours."
Oh,
All right,
cool.
see you, Tony.
So I'm 2 days older than you. Actually, how old are you? I'm gonna be 57. Random Adventures. Hey, Nicholas and Ozark, I've got to hit the hay. Great live. Take care, my friend. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming in, Random. Appreciate it a lot.
I have 2 recipes. Cleaning any animal sounds like bear meat is like the muskrat. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Let me read it. Cleaning any animal sounds like. I know it's bear meat. So here's the thing with me and like wild game meat. Like when I was younger, I just had a bad first impression with like deer meat, and like the way it was processed. I think it was an older buck that was given to us, and it just wasn't done right. And you could taste, like that gland taste or just the,
Yeah.
that taste, and it was
Yeah.
super gamey.
Uh,
So like, I had that when I was little, and then after that I was like, no, I'm good on that. And then I
yeah.
had it, a friend, they were donated, meat to them, and they didn't want it. It was deer, but it was like when they do the NRA hunts and everything, and they have the little camo 1 pound bags of meat they give out.
Yeah.
And I had that, and it was super good.
Hmm.
So like ever since then, like there's always people getting rid of it. I mean, hey, most of the time it's people like they want to get another deer for the next year, and they still have meat from last year. So they're like, hey,
Yeah.
you want this,
Yeah.
or or you can just make jerky. But I just like ground deer, just dry as it can get, and just mustard, pepper, garlic, and salt.
Yeah. I used to have this neighbor lady, and her husband hunted. She was our next door neighbor. And I told her over and over and over, everybody in my family hates deer meat. We won't eat it. But she still insisted that we take some because theirs is different. Theirs don't taste bad like everybody else's. I've heard that so many times. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, she'd every year she'd bring us this big old huge bowl of chili, of deer meat chili. And we never could eat it. We would have to try to find somebody to give it to her. We ended up having to throw it away after a while. There's one man in my whole entire life that convinced me to eat some of his deer meat. He kept saying, I promise you, it don't taste bad. You won't even notice. And I'm like, dude, I've heard that from everybody. And his didn't. His tastes just like chicken fried steak. And then the only other one that happened with was the other weekend when I told you I tried that other, and I felt like I could slightly taste the deer, but I think it's probably in my mind. It's just like you. I've got bad memories, man. It that wild taste to me tastes just like liver, and it makes me want to puke.
Yeah, I can't do liver still. Like I just can't do it. The only liver I can eat is turkey liver, and that's if I'm eating turkey breast, I'll like put it in with it. I can't have it alone. Like I tried to have chicken livers because I kept getting it for catfish, and a little bit ago I got some, so I was like,
Oh,
but
I couldn't eat that.
I can't do it. I haven't eaten bear because the last bear I seen, I think my uncle had it, and it kind of sat a bit. With bear, their hide's so big, they get hot quick on the inside, and it just, the meat gets ruined quick. So that was no good. But my one native friend, he made me some fry bread last fall. We had a meeting
Oh,
at our archaeological
mm,
club, and he made a bunch of fry bread.
yeah.
And so he has his own. It's rendered bear fat and moose fat. I think it was moose fat, and he has it rendered down, and that's what he fries in, and that's extremely good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he even said, when the bear when they eat a bunch of blueberries or whatever they're eating, you can taste that in the fat. So you frying it, you'll get like a hint of berries.
Hmm. That's crazy. There, in Oklahoma City, there's a hot dog place. I love fry bread. I mean, I eat fry bread all the time in Oklahoma, but there's this hot dog place, and when you order, you can get fries fried in duck grease. And I don't know why. One day I was there, and I thought, man, that sounds kind of good. And I ordered it, and I'm telling you, I about lost everything when I bit into those fries. That tasted so bad to me. I would never do that again.
Yeah, there's something I don't know. There's something about like with like fowl and all that. I mean, usually they're really gamey. I'm saying like wild duck and whatever. Like I haven't had wild duck, but man, duck I just don't like. I don't like the taste. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Have you ever
Um,
had? Oh, I know you have lamb. Do you like lamb, or is
yeah.
that too
So
raw?
it must be my English taste buds.
Uh huh.
The lamb part.
Yeah.
Like there's lamb I've had. So like I can eat lamb if it's like ground with a bunch of sage or mint, or if it's like a smaller, thinner piece. But like if it's a
Mhm.
thick piece of lamb,
Right.
I can't do it. Like you get towards the center and it just gets more and more lammy.
Yeah.
I like it to where it's thin and like a lot of seasoning. So like each bite's seasoning with it, so it's not just like the lamb taste.
Right.
It's a weird thing with me and lamb though, because I don't hate it,
Yeah. I
but
don't either.
part of me likes it. But
I've did 2 campouts where I've cooked lamb steak or lamb chops, whatever they're called. And what I did, if I remember right, is I cut all through the meat. I cut slices so it could cook better, like in the center, rather than I didn't want any pink in there,
mm,
on something like that. But Mike says, Randy, if you don't like venison, I bet you'll really not like muskrat. I bet you're probably right.
one of his deer recipes are yeah, nasty liver. Yeah, no. Deer sausage, I made a bunch of deer sausage, but that's already gone.
Was it
Uh,
good?
oh yeah, yeah. Because I've had it from people before. Like you can tell when they made it, there was no love in it.
Uh,
It's just like, oh, they didn't really try with this. It's like not mixed enough, so the preservatives didn't get through, and it's gray in some spots, and then the rest is pink, like it should be.
yeah,
But uh, alligator and buffalo, I really like buffalo. Um,
yeah. I'm okay with buffalo
yeah,
hamburger.
it sucks. It's so expensive, but like I only like it ground, but ground
Yeah.
buffalo. Actually, one of my next projects. Now, it's gonna kill me doing it, but I want to brain tan I want to process and brain tan an entire bison hide by myself. And I want to make a old style robe with it. So when I winter
Oh,
camp, I have a
yeah.
full wrap bison cloak. Because if you try to, so I could get the bison hide from a guy around here for like 700 for the hide.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
if I did the whole process myself, I'd probably end up at around 1,000. Well, if you try to buy one of those buffalo jackets, they're like $7,000-8,000 for
Wow.
certain ones. So that'll be a definite video series. But
Yeah,
I do want to do that.
that would be cool. That you need to get you a teepee and get some get some fur rugs, and that would be cool.
Yeah.
I told you I lived in Oklahoma, and up there's teepees everywhere. the area I was in, and there's a wildlife refuge, and I went out there all the time. That's where I went camping with my kids. And on the wildlife refuge, they have buffalo that just roam free everywhere. But I don't remember how many years, they have a big sale and they sell a bunch of them off so it don't get overpopulated. And a lot of restaurants and stuff buys those things because Indians have different laws than the white man does over there.
Yeah.
So they're allowed to do stuff that we
I
weren't
know
allowed to do.
I know of some that sell meat. You know,
Yeah.
they'll sell meat to people, or they'll
Yeah.
gift it. You know,
Yep. Yep.
I noticed, like, most I've dealt with, they like trading, so I
Yeah.
like to make a good trade with them. Like, because the friends I have, they would just give me something and not expect something back, but it's
Right.
like kind of a, they're happy if you trade like that. So, like, I like trading with my one friend. He made me, this bracelet.
Yeah.
But I
Hang
love
on.
this.
Let me put it on solo here.
I don't know if it's
Oh
gonna.
yeah. Yeah.
I think it's moose. It's definitely moose bone. I can't remember what kind of.
He's
What
Native
part.
American Indian.
Yeah, he's Seneca Hawk. But
That's cool.
and those are glass beads, but it represents Sky Nation.
Uh-huh.
So,
You
but
know, my best friend. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I got this from New Mexico too. If it'll come on, focus. I don't think it's gonna focus. It's a pack of coyotes.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, I see it.
It won't focus. This thing though, I was hunting down there. Well, over there in New Mexico. But this is all old, like mercury dimes,
I don't know nothing about him.
like just old silver dimes. But
Oh
these are
yeah.
like they're like crimped and put up. But this thing's heavy. That's why
Yeah.
I want him to make some more beaded stuff to wear. But every time I hold this thing up to the sky, the glass beads are like the same color as the sky. It's pretty
Huh.
cool. But oh, what are they saying in chat here? I know it's delayed here on StreamYard. Like quail? I haven't had quail yet, actually.
My
I didn't
friend,
get to meet Tom Moore. No, that would be pretty cool though.
my friend in Oklahoma, the Indian guy I was talking about. He actually played the Indian chief in the original Lonesome Dove. Or I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, he's a real poor guy, but he said he got a lot of friends all of a sudden when he got that part in the movie because everybody thought he was going to be rich. And then he lost them all when they found out he wasn't going to be acting no more. But he was pretty cool, and he did a lot of stuff for me. Gave me things, a lot of Indian things, especially when he found out we were moving from Oklahoma. His family was real good to me.
Well, he my friend, I know he goes to Canada at times. So I gave him some Canadian silver coins and stuff.
Yeah, that's
I don't
cool.
want to give, because I'm not skilled at all. What do I do? What do I make them like I mean, I don't even know what I could make to gift them. So I was just like, but one thing. So one of my favorite hobbies.
Later, Mike. I appreciate you coming in. Cool seeing you come in here, Nick. Good night. Minnesota Mike said it's cool to see you come in here. I appreciate you staying in so long, Mike. Appreciate the support.
So these are my atlatl darts. So you can see how long these things are.
Yeah, they're long. Holy cow.
These are
Do you just throw them?
no, so I'm actually getting pretty good at it. But I have this here. This is my atlatl, the thrower itself. but this just tightens on my fingers like that.
Uh-huh.
And I have my balance weight there. This one's actually called the Mammoth Hunter. But you can see the tip on this, or the point.
Yep.
It's a copper head on this. Actually, I hit a rabbit with this one. But pretty much right here on the end, these are this is cane from down south, so they're
Yeah.
pretty light. But right on the end, there's a pit, and I lock that into there. And then pretty much like this. And then
Oh, wow.
you launch that.
Forces it. Yeah.
This is what they hunted with. I mean, right where I'm standing now, they would have been hunting right through this hill range with this.
That is
It's
awesome.
it's before the bow and arrow. But it's all over the world. You can find atlatls. I mean,
Where did you get that one?
so this is from these darts, these like actual cane darts, and this thrower. It's from Gary Fogelman, and he's like a professional atlatl thrower. But I met him at a trade show, and he had them. But these things are extremely accurate. I mean, I can kick a water bottle in the air, and I can hit it. I can hit it in the air with this thing. And when you throw these, they're like, they wobble a lot, like a lot.
Uh-huh.
So when you hit something, it hits and it drives in like with a lot of force, because this whole thing's wobbling, and it drives it all the way in.
Digs in, yeah.
These are just trainer darts, even though they have a copper tip. But my friend on his reservation, he hunts deer, he hunts quail, pheasant, and he's super accurate with them. He made me this dart. It's more of just a dowel rod dart. It's a little heavier. But I got third place in an atlatl golf last year. My friend's a flint napper, and he made this.
Oh, that's cool.
But he flint naps, and
Man, you got friends everywhere.
yeah. Most of my friends are like way older than me, just because like the stuff they're interested in.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me grab this. So here's some points I found last year. I put a little case together, but this one, this one, that one, and this one were all in the same field behind my house.
How long ago?
Last year.
Okay.
And I walked this entire cornfield. So pretty much where I live, we're on this big hill range that goes across. And if you go down about a mile, there's a creek that they used. And this was all hunting grounds here. They wouldn't have camped up here, really. They would have come uphill and hunted up through here as they worked past.
Right.
So, I didn't find any flakes. There were no flakes. There were no tools. There were nothing. It was literally just this broken blade, and points where they were hunting. They missed, and this is what happened. That's why, because they wouldn't have just left a point there.
Yeah.
They don't do that kind of stuff. A lot of times if they found them and they hit an animal, or they hit something and it chipped it in half, they'd work it into a knife or something. They wouldn't just throw it away. So that's what's cool, is more than likely this one, and this one were on the atlatl darts that I just showed you. And that's they would have thrown those at a deer right over. I mean, like a couple 100 foot from my room.
Mm-hmm.
But
So what do? Do you just take that outside like every day or every other day and practice, or how did you learn how to do it?
I actually, I haven't, I haven't went this year at all with it because it's been so cold. Like it's gonna be like 30 tomorrow here. Like
Oh,
winter,
wow.
it just keeps dragging on here.
I wish it would here.
Well, I was just in Texas. It was 94, and then I
Yeah,
come here and I'm shivering again. Like since I've lost the weight, you know, I get cold quick.
yeah,
I'm still 200 pounds,
right.
but I'm like, I get freezing. Like
How
my body,
tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
Okay,
I, I I'm trying to lose more. I'm trying to get to like 180.
yeah. You're thinner than me.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I understand. Like I'm not hard on myself. Like it's not like a punishment thing on myself to like lose more. It's not like I have a false opinion on myself or anything. It's like, just there is enough fat still to where I notice it quite a bit.
Right.
And it kind of bothers me that way. But
There's
the one thing is like, I mean, this is it's just that doesn't go away, I guess. Maybe
hey, dude. So wait till you get old. First off, Mission Discover came back in. Hey, Mission, what's up? You're welcome to come in here if you want to and chat with us. It's up
all
to
right,
you.
see you, Mike. Yeah, well, I went on Facebook for a minute and I seen Tyler Wood shared the link. It's been a long time since I talked to Tyler. I mean, I used to be in the community with him. Mark was the other guy. Chaucer Fox. There was like a smaller bushcraft community a few years back. I'm not sure if he still joins any of them, but I've known Tyler for a handful of years.
I just met him like I think it was maybe Sunday. I met him on here. He was doing a live with somebody else, and I was like, "Hey, uh, would you do a live with me or something?" Or I asked whoever he was in it. I think it was Herb. Herb's in here. I think I asked Herb, "Hey, can you get his information so I can see if he'll do a live?"
Hmm.
So I was real happy that he did. I've had Mission Discover who's in here. I've done a live with him. Have you ever seen his stuff?
No.
He is really good with archery stuff.
I wonder if anyone else in chat does that, Laddle. I don't. Maybe I'm just the only weirdo that does something that's outdated.
Well, I think if people knew about it, they'd probably do it. If they knew about it and could get a hold of the stuff. I've never heard of it.
It's before the bow and arrow. That was pretty much it. There's something about it. Like I do not like bow and arrow at all. Like I cannot get into it. But with the atlatl, like
Yeah.
It was just for the fun of it. I was trying to see, like the one dart I showed you.
Hmm.
I was trying to just gauge and see how good I was getting last year. I'm still not extremely good. My one friend, he's unbelievably good. I mean, he hunts with it. But I'm way up here. We live in just a big field. We don't have any trees or anything. And so I'm up here. I look way down past my shed. There's a rabbit sitting there. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna see, because if you're trying to do long distance, you have to arc it.
Right.
Like in the medieval times when they, you
Yeah.
see the arrows in a movie or something like that. You have to do that with it, or you're not gonna make it. So I gauged it. I threw it, and as it got closer, I was like, oh no, because I mean, I can't do that. I was like, oh no, please don't hit the rabbit. So it arcs down. It hits right on the rabbit. I'm like, the rabbit was
wow.
fine. Didn't need to put down nothing like that. It was completely fine. It hit just the fur on the side. But I was like, I'm better than I thought I was. I mean, it was like I was way up here, but when they used to fight and they'd hang under the side of the horse, they were using the atlatl like that, wall underneath like that, and they could sling it, and they could hit exactly where they wanted to hit like that. It is, I mean,
Pretty
it's
cool.
insane.
You know, I've never even thought of that, but as soon as you started, I mean, before you even explained it, as soon as I saw you putting it together, it clicked how that works.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And I was like, man, that is cool.
when I have my friends try it, you know, like I'll have them try to just toss the dart,
Yeah.
you know, because they're called darts, but you know, those are like some of them get to like 8-9 foot, but you know, you try to throw it, you can get it decent. I mean, you can get it a little bit far if you push the end while you throw it.
Right.
But it's basically the thrower's like the same length as your forearm segment.
Uh-huh.
So you're just adding an another part of leverage, and I get nervous because last year I strong armed one, and they're not real cheap, these darts, the good ones. I strong armed it, and right as I was coming forward like that, it slipped, and I punched it, and it snapped it because the tip hit the ground, and then I punched it, and it just did that. So that one was ruined, but you can give it some force, and it's gone. I mean, and now they sell kits. They sell kits that are all, it's like a plastic or like a fiberglass thrower, and then you've got a screw together aluminum dart. Those things are insane. I
Yeah.
mean, they're not traditional, but you can. I can't remember exactly how far my friend has thrown it, but they go so far. But yeah, I really that's a project I want to do. I've always
Yeah.
never liked saying bushcraft in relation to me. Like even when I did bushcraft videos, because like I'm not well educated in it at all, and it's not something I ever like really did much of. But like I do want to make an atlatl set, and it's not like okay, this is the shape, this is what you do. No, it's the balance has to be perfect. And actually, when you build an atlatl set, you have to build the darts first.
Okay.
You don't have to, but pretty much almost have to, because you build the thrower and balance it off of those darts that you made before you do the thrower.
Yeah.
And when you do the darts, you have to run them over a fire, and you keep running a stone down it as you have it over the fire. And you got to
Have
do
you
that.
done that?
No,
Okay.
I was taught how to do this by my friend that makes them. But
Mission Discover says, you said it's delayed, so I'm not sure exactly what it's talking about. He says, gonna carve one this year.
yeah. Well, that's the thing, you know, certain type of wood, since where I live, we don't have cane like that. You know, this is from like down in Florida, this cane that this guy makes his darts out of.
Mm-hmm.
But there's certain wood you can use for it. And another thing is you just need like a tip of an antler. And that's what you use as your, that fits into the divots on the darts. You have that at the top, and you kind of push that back in, and that's where you hold your darts on. But trying to get to like 200, I got 29 pounds again. Yeah, you could do it. I mean, really, it's not good how fast I lost that weight. Like I lost it a little too fast. Like I think that was, you know, and I'm not saying that to be like, oh look, I lost it that quick. It's like that's too much too fast, and that's why I have a lot of loose skin now. But like this year, I plan on lifting weights, so that'll fill that out a little bit. But I do want to lose a little bit more weight, just like even like 20 more pounds. And what's crazy is even though I was eating bread and barbecue and stuff when I was down in Texas, I didn't gain any weight. I didn't have a scale there the whole time. So I was nervous the whole time to come back and weigh. I thought I'd be like 20 pounds heavier. Well, first thing I did when I got back here is I weighed, and I actually lost a pound. But the problem is I felt like garbage mentally. So I was like, I'm done with the carbs again. But 5'11", my body's been through a transformation from skinny to a little chunky. 10-year-old. Got ripped messed up. So. Yeah, well, I know if you don't keep on top of things, time goes quick. So it's like, that's why I like my diet, because it's like when I do it, it's like a lifestyle change almost. So it's not like a challenge. It's more of just like I change and evolve with it and I get used to it. So it's like I'm not doing anything to lose weight and I'm just
Yeah.
living. But then I am losing. It's going to do bamboo. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that'd be a good set. The bamboo's real good. I mean, it's light too. You wouldn't believe though, if you watch an atlatl dart in the air in slow motion when someone throws it, you would think that thing would snap like instantly. I mean, it bends like when someone throws it, it bends like this. But it hits something, you wouldn't want to be hit by it at all. But I might try to make a set this year though. It'll probably be a failure at first, but I have some actual stone tools. I didn't find them, but I found them at yard sales and stuff. I have like a little X. Is it an ads?
Let's see here. Now at 62, I ate healthy and slowly lost the fat, and I feel good.
So I
Hey,
have this.
do you remember I told you that? Go ahead. Hang
It's
on, let
just
me turn it. There we go.
it's just a hand axe or a pestle, kind of. It's kind of like an all-purpose tool. You can see they broke this other side off.
Yeah.
But this could have been used for a lot of things. I mean, they could have hit stuff with it. They could have ground up fibers, to break down fibers in plants, or they could have ground with it because it's a little rounded here. They could have, pushed grain. I didn't find this though. This was at a yard sale.
Remember I told you earlier that everybody's from Pennsylvania that I keep running into.
Mhm.
That's where Mission Discover's from Pennsylvania. He's one of them. I just keep finding them. Y'all are everywhere, man.
We do a YouTube meetup in June. It's all like outdoor creators, PA creators, and I've gone for 3 years in a row now. But it's in June. But that's in
Wow.
that's in Clarion, Pennsylvania. We do that.
For the whole state?
Well, for any state can show up, but most people, are from a couple hours.
Yeah.
So
Man, that's cool. Top Shop Bill, if ever get meat is your friend. Lower Michigan. I never heard of it either, but I'm sure it's something that was used before our time. Let's see here. Those are great adventures. JT Bushcraft said he would get a hold of you tomorrow and possibly do a live stream if you're not busy. I don't know if he already called you or texted you. I haven't heard from him yet. Been wondering about it.
yeah, it's good. Doing
I
one in
think
May at Lake Glory. Yeah, Mission Discover. I'm still not 100% sure. for the 2.0 meetup. I'm thinking I'll be able to, but until it's a little bit closer, I'm not sure just yet. But yeah, that one's like a 4-hour drive for me.
Which one is the Random Adventures?
Yeah, Random Adventures meetup. He's doing it at a amusement park. It's a free park, like you can walk around all you want in there. But if you want to go on rides, you pay. But he's gonna do a meetup there. Because I wanted to go to Gettysburg this year. I've wanted to go to Gettysburg for like 3 years now, and I haven't been able to go yet. So yeah, Knoebels. Knoebels Park. I think it's Knoebels, but I've wanted to go to Gettysburg. I really wanted metal detect. Obviously not the battlegrounds, but I was gonna kind of put the word out on my channel and just hope that someone that watches would let me metal detect somewhere near the, somewhere remotely by Gettysburg, because that would be, even if I just found, one fired bullet, something like that. I mean, that'd be awesome. Carbs are no good for your joints. Some veg places. I've noticed that, Top Shop. I know, widely across everything, vegetables are supposed to be amazingly perfect, but most vegetables, humans have made them to where they don't make you sick over time. I mean, look at the nightshade family and all that we've made from nightshade. Just there's certain things where we've really messed with it so we can eat it well, but I noticed, like, even vegetables, I know it's not with everyone, but even vegetables, I'll get sick. Like, I'll get like a brain fog from eating vegetables, or I kind of feel sick from it.
Like from eating too many, or just from eating them in general?
Even just a little bit. It's like the chemicals in it, just the natural chemicals. I mean, they don't want you to eat them. I mean, they don't want you to eat them. So it's just, yeah, I don't know. Like, I thought for a while, like when I started adding salad back in a few months back, I thought that, like, when I started feeling sick, it was just because I'm so used to eating only meat, and I thought it would take time, and that's why I felt sick. But over time, I've just realized that I felt so good just eating meat that when I started eating vegetables again and I started having problems again, I was like, oh, okay. So now I'm going back off, and I'm going to see over the next couple weeks if I feel a lot better. And if I do, I'm probably, even if I'm down to my lowest weight, I don't think, I'm mainly just going to eat meat. But you want to know what to say about people from PA? I don't know. There could be a lot said about people in PA. I know we're not as bad as Ohio, but
Well, I've met people from both states on here, and so far I've liked all of them I've met. So
can't live without garlic. I love garlic so much.
oh, me too. Garlic and onion.
Went from 300 pounds back in 17 to right before COVID hit. What's that? Wow.
I know this ain't your live, but can I go pee?
Yeah, I'll be
Okay.
hopping off soon here, but
Okay. I'll just pee real quick.
yeah, I mean, I'd show the loose skin on here, but you guys don't want to see that. Yeah, I was at my heaviest. I was almost 340. I think I was 340. Yeah, and right now, this is with having a lot of water in my body, and I drink a lot of water. And then whatever I've ate today, I was like 208 pounds. I haven't been under 200 yet, actually. I was under 200 a couple months back, for like 3 hours. It was like 199 point something. But I would like to be at like 180 I don't know what my body is, honestly. Like I'm pretty like I'm wide. Like my shoulders are way over. Like that's the problem with me in clothes is, this shirt is baggy this way, but if I lift my arms, my shoulders are so big that it lifts the shirt like halfway up. So, all right, Pest Hunter. I might already have your channel on my subscriptions, but I wrote it down. I also wrote Lower Michigan down, which I might have Lower Michigan already as well. I wrote it down so I double check after. 245. I just know with me, like, I'm too young to like have that much extra weight. It makes everything difficult, and then, you know, it's just unneeded, especially like, my age. Maybe when I'm older, I'll be bigger, but for now, I don't want to at all.
I lost a lot of weight about 3 or 4 years ago, and I kept it off. I lost too much. I got down to 165, which is what I was in high school, and people started telling me that I looked like a cancer patient. So I tried to level out between 185 and 190. I felt real good. I looked better then. The only problem is my face. I mean, when you're older, especially if you got a long, skinny face like mine, when you lose weight, you look a lot older in the face. But anyway, I ended up gaining it all back, and now I feel just unhealthy again. I'm like 215, 220, and I want to get back down to at least 195.
It's so weird with me. Like, if I look in a mirror, I'm like, oh man, I haven't lost like any. Just like because it still looks, from the front, it looks like I'm still the same size just because the skin. But then if I turn sideways and look, it's completely different. It's like,
Oh,
I'm like that wide, but
yeah.
like from the front, it looks like it used to just because, this is all. I mean, I can actually see my collarbone and everything, but past that, it's like, but it's like
Yep.
kind of hard with the lighting. But I didn't have a collarbone.
I see it.
I didn't have one. But yeah, and
Yeah.
then this, I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
There's muscle under there, but it's like that's all skin. It's like whatever. I'm not having surgery to take it off because I'm good on that.
Yeah. Well, this runs in my family. A gobbler. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
And when it don't matter if I'm fat or skinny, I got a gobbler, but the skinnier I am, the more floppy it gets. All right.
Chicken, cheese, eggs. Yeah. Take this.
I guess I'm gonna shut this down.
All right.
I appreciate everybody coming in. I appreciate you coming in, Nick.
Yeah.
You kind of saved the live because I thought I was prepared, but I did not have enough questions for him. And so I
Yes.
was
That's the thing with me. Like I've interviewed a few people, and I just kind of I can't write anything down. Like when I write stuff down, I never look at it. Like I'll take the time to write it down, but then I never look at it. I'm just like on
yeah.
a string of just like random questions. But like beforehand, I'm concerned. I don't know what I'm gonna say.
See, I'm, I can wing it normally, like with you. I think it's because I don't know. Mission Discover, he was on here. He's probably the easiest person in the world because all you got to do is mention a subject, kind of like you, and he just takes off with it. Bah, 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 bah. So if they talk a lot, it's a lot easier for me. But I try to make a paper just as a guideline, just in case things happen like what happened tonight, where it was going too fast. But apparently, I didn't make enough guidelines because I kept telling people, "Okay, somebody come in the chat. Y'all come in here and ask questions." Nobody wanted to do it, I guess, but it went all right. But I appreciate you coming in. Mission says a yapper, if you will. Yeah, talking about himself. Not a yapper. I mean, you just
He's
know what
just
you're talking
stirring.
about.
Top Shop was just stirring stuff up about Pennsylvania.
Uh-oh.
I've been to a handful of states now, and so far I'd have to say I think Pennsylvania is my favorite so far. Um, I don't know. It's just a combination of a lot of stuff. But I mean, I still haven't been to like 3/4 of the country, so
Tyler
um,
says next live stream, me and Nick will have a freestyle wrap off. That'd
I
be
mean,
cool.
so me and my friend, we'll do like freestyles like that, but a competition, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be good at that. I really do though. I have like so many songs. Like this computer, this one is just they're loaded. And some of them honestly like I never pat myself on the back, but they're like decent songs. But like I could never put them on my channel cuz my channel there is absolutely no swearing on my channel at all. There is not I've never even said damn on my channel.
Same here.
My
That's how I
channel
like it.
it is completely there is not a single video that a kid can't watch.
Same
And
here.
that was one of my goals because I've had a lot of parents over the years, even when I was a kid, like comment and say thanks for, keeping it clean on here. My kids like watching.
Yep.
It's like but
I know there's a couple of kids that watch with their families on here. And so before I even start a chat, I usually ask everybody, please just keep it clean, keep the joking clean, the language clean. And so far it's pretty good. Every once in a while you get somebody that just wants to cause trouble, but
yeah.
anyway, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming in. I'm gonna send you an email
Okay.
sometime tomorrow or something.
All right. Yeah, it's a weird email. It's called solvingpanda67 at Gmail. But it's you'll see it on my bio on YouTube. So
Are you sure? Because everybody tells me their emails is in their bio or what. I can't
it's
find
there.
half of people's email.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay.
But,
All right, man. Well, we'll see y'all later.
all right. I'll see Chad as well. All right. See you guys.
Have a good night.